Good morning and welcome back to the most exciting motorsport event and weekend South Africa has offered thus far. It's round 5 and 6 of the SAES Endurance Championship. We saw round 5 come and go yesterday, and a lot of exciting action has come and gone, but today it's coming to a peak. It's coming to a final moment we've been waiting for, and it's more than just the racing today. We have music, we have a festival going, and the action's already started. The gates open today at 5 a.m., and I've seen a couple of fans already, and we've already had a couple of warm-ups as well from our single-seater classes. Things are already cooking, and we haven't even seen the sun at the peak of its potential. It's only 8 a.m., and we already have so much to be excited about. My name is Prince Ndiweni, and alongside me is Stephen Koenig. We're going to have a lot more faces ready for you to present to you our array of racing talent, and I think you could be able to hear some of the cars warming up at the moment. Steve, how excited are you for the first single-seater race of the morning?
Oh man, I've got chills already just listening to it, and after the racing was so good.
You do have
chills. Honestly, there's a bit of a problem here. It's north versus south, and DJ Boysons from the south, from the coast, took the win yesterday in both heats. So South has got 2 points on us, Northerners. So we're going to have to change our. Spoke to Alan Mayer and spoke to Yari Herber and told them the stakes that's going to be happening. They said it's not going to let that happen. So it's going to be interesting to see how it all works. We've got lots of support classes. We've got our single-seaters. They're going to be heading out on the circuit with the championship online for the Super Vs as well. And we've also got the Lotus Challenge that will be going out on track. And after some amazing racing and also 2 cars going and landing off at the exact same area, under braking is what threw them into the wall. Well, let's go and see how it's going to work. I know that the teams down by Lotus Challenge were frantically working on those cars to get them up and going. But as you can see out on screen, it is time to have some fun here at Midrand. It's beautiful here at the Kyalami Grand Prix circuit, and we have got one of the best classes out there, the single-seaters, ready to show what they can do as we build up to the 9 hours of Kyalami. Man, oh man, we're in for a treat.
No, we absolutely are. And the single seaters are very exciting because of their diminutive stature, shorter wheelbase. They can fit in 3-4 cars abreast at times, so it can get very exciting at many parts of the circuit. It's quite wide and can accommodate them quite easily, so it will take a bit of skill to be able to choose the right piece of tarmac while trying to avoid the nearest racing driver right next to you. And we also have, obviously, for those joining us today and missed out on some of the action yesterday or during the course of the weekend, it is a mix. It's not straightforward. It's got a number of classes that we're looking at for the single-seaters. Steve, can you break that down for us?
So we do have Class A, B, and all the way down to E. So what we've got is Formula VWs that are on track. You will see they will be at the front. Former National Championship category that existed in the later parts of the 2000s. We have our Super Vs that are out on track. You will see most of them are in the beautiful liquid moly colors. And we've also got Formula V, which is that is a national challenge category that is out there with the Hills family, Brandon Hills, Paul Hills, and Vaughan Hills, along with the young Traden Chomp, who's had a brilliant run in the season in Formula V this year. We also got our Formula M's, which will be Hilton Marrow and Aidan Marrow, so father and son duo. They're in the Formula M's. And we've also got Formula GTIs in here. We have got Formula Fords. It's a mix of single-seaters, and that's why it's a bit of a festival like this, to have all the cars out on track. And they're going to be kicking things off in the best way possible. Side-by-side action heading down to turn 1. We're expecting about 4 cars wide, but keep an eye out for the likes of DJ Boyson. If he gets a whole shot here, he's going to run away. So keep an eye. Alan Mayer's going to have to close up that gap rather quickly, as he's going to be starting in 2nd place. Tyler Robertson in 3rd, Lucian Ranchanda in 4th, Brandon Hills along with Peter Hills, Vaughan Hills running in 7th. Then we got Hayden Elwood, Traden Chomp, Hilton Marrow, Aidan Marrow, Didda Deirdricks in the Jaguar colours for the Formula M, followed by Steve Fenter, Kennedy Torres, Earl Swartz, also known as Early B. He actually overheated his motor yesterday. And then we got Smith running in 16th, followed by Pinar, and then Lucian Ranchanda's brother, Kiva Ranchanda, running in 18th position. Phillips running in 19th, and 20th is Mark Tucker, who has an opportunity to score big in the Super V Championship. Bellingham running in 21st, Grant Will in 22nd, Austin, Van der Westhuizen, Blaine de Melian. We got Van der Merwe along with couple of other drivers towards the back end of the field. 34 cars are going to be lining up here today. A couple of cars, unfortunately, running into a few issues, but they're managing to get majority back out on the track, ready to have a bit of fun. I'm super excited about this. It's going to be close racing all the way through, and with 2 heats of racing for them, it's going to be one of those fun ways to really push yourself that extra little bit.
Yeah, heat of racing in the literal sense. The 2-minute board just went up, and not too long from now we're going to see the 1-minute board. Of course, it's not a literal 2-minute or 1 minute, it's all symbolic, and everyone knows exactly what the sequence will be from here. 30-second board just went up, and you can hear those engine notes building up slowly for all those single-seated. 5-second board is up now. Everybody pretty much has found their bite point for their clutch, hopefully, fingers crossed for them. But the first bit of racing, and away we go. Boyson immediately getting away, and as you said, Steve, the moment he gets a gap, he's going to take it and he's trying to keep it. That was a really good start and great reflexes for him. Let's see what it looks like going around the king. And he immediately has the whole shot from the king, so he doesn't have to worry about anything. No defense needed out into Crowthorne. There's already 3 car-lanes for Boyson, Steve.
That's it. The Vaughan brothers trying to keep a little bit of defense with Kenny Torres and Traden Chomp chasing him down. Grant Wall trying to go around the outside. Looks like Mark Tucker a little bit slow on the exit. Now getting absolutely swamped. Damien Archer in the Formula GTI, the light baby blue, trying to also make his way through as they go through the Oxay Sweep, heading into Barbecue, onto the Power. Grant Will a little bit slow on the exit though, and he's having a bit of a problem. The number 77 nose, unfortunately, coming off, and that nose belongs to the likes of Francois Jacobs, who...
Puffs of smoke from Boyson as you look for Jacobs' car there. I wonder what the issue is. They've cleared Sunset in a clubhouse now. We'll get him in frame again to see what's going on. But in the meantime, looks like one of the hills is making decent progress. Falling away, rather. 2 car lengths now. 2 cars between the hills at the moment, whereas it was just 1 at the start of the race. But yeah, something's going on with Boyson there. I want to get some clarity. It looks like, nearly side by side there. Just coming out of the S's and going up to Crowthorne. We've still got, that side by side just cleared up quite quickly.
So
it's
that
very
was
difficult at Loicorp to go into abreast there.
Yeah,
Who was that?
That was Hayden Murrow that was going on the defense with our Super Vs and going and fighting it out. But it does look like Alan Mayer dropped off the back, and there is Tyler Robertson trying to make up some ground a little bit further back. We've got a little bit of a battle going on as Peter Hill's trying to get onto the back of one of our Formula Fords. Now, this is a very interesting one, having a Formula Ford versus a Formula V. Now, Formula Ford, a lot more power underneath them, 1600 motors, and using more specialized equipment to help with cornering, versus a Formula V that uses a Beetle front suspension, Beetle gearbox, and the 1400 motor. But it is Peter Hills leading on the charge with one of his sons right behind him and really trying to push on as hard as they can in tow. So great to see how this is going to work, but you can see how the slipstreaming effect really comes into play here. Unfortunately, losing out on horsepower, but going to make up a fair amount of time. Kenny Torres with an 1800, not a 1600 in that car, is also trying to make up a huge amount of ground. He started further back, and he's going to try and take the fight to the Formula Ford ahead and do everything he can at the moment and see how it all works out.
I'm trying to get to understand what's going on with Boyson's car there. Well, obviously he's gone into the distance. His pace seems just fine. Apparently unaffected by whatever smoke I'm seeing. A couple of puffs of smoke, though, definitely.
On gear change. So as he's going down, it's going and giving a quick puff of smoke. It could be also just the engine taking a little bit of strain. He's using engine braking instead of touching the brakes, especially with single seaters. You don't want to go and use your brakes too often. Slows you down, kills the momentum. So engine braking is being used there, but just taking a look at one of our Super Vs, that is Lucian Ranchanda having a look, and that looks to be likes of Brandon Hills, who's having a bit of a problem. But I suspect we got a bit of a problem here because I don't see Peter Hills anymore. Peter Hills is no longer in front of Brandon, so Brando's going to have to do everything he can. Lucian Ranchanda, knowing the task at hand, these two battled it out for Formula Vs for many, many years. They were side-by-side moments just like this, and now for the Super V with its 1600 to chase down the likes of Brandon Hills, who's going to make that car as wide as possible. To tell the difference between the Super V and a Formula V is basically aerodynamics coming into play, the front wing, rear wing, and also it's got a 1600 motor versus the likes of 1400. But Yannick Herber in the Formula M A-class car, the KTM, that's been shoehorned into the likes of a Van Diemen chassis. It's a Formula Ford chassis like the Formula Ford you see ahead with a bike motor. 1400 KTM now chasing down and really looking to make up a bit of time. Going to go late on
down the inside on hill.
There we go. So absolutely well done as Yannick Herber making his way through the field as fast as possible. He's going to try and catch his rival, Alan Meyer, who he's looking to really put on the pressure.
He'll also now trying to position himself on the inside of Ramchanda. If the kink is still inside, he may have Crawthorne pretty much done by the time they're under braking, and Ramchanda's not going to make it too difficult. Fair racing from him, but I think he's got him lined up. He knows exactly where to try and get that position again, but I would argue that Gerber did help towards the end there for Ramchanda to capitalize at Ingwe.
That's it. They're going to have to push as hard as they can, but keep an eye on Hellwood. He's going to be trying to make up a bit of ground as well. So Lucian Ramchanda on Brandon going and fighting it out as they try and claw their way through. But it is going to be nose to tail between the two as Ramchanda up on the inside through Sunset and really going to give it horns. This is where the wings come in play because you can utilize the aerodynamics to your advantage. And a little bit further back, a very interesting little car. This is actually a Formula V chassis. It was part of the Omega Vs and was a championship winning car. Can't get to the history on it because unfortunately during the time of painting it, Raj Manchanda said he never got to see the date that it actually won. So it's one of the Omega Vs that way back in the past that was put into a garage and never saw the light of day for a long time that has finally come out to show. But DJ Boyson's going and representing the Coastals and showing what he can do, really giving it everything he's got to try and open up the gap to Alan Meyer with Yannick Herber, who is going to try and close up the gap to Tyler Robertson at this point. So it's going to be a good race between them, and let's see how it's all going to shuffle around on the way through.
Yeah, Boyson's time seems to have dropped slightly. He was in the 151s earlier. The best time he sets is a 151.1, but recently with a 152.9. And I do wonder if he has to make those sort of advantageous racing techniques, the engine braking that you're talking about, for example. He's applying that pretty much at every corner he can. It seems to have shaved a bit of time or added a bit of time.
One of the Super V's actually dead slow. I don't know if that's Mark Tucker, but there is Jacobs going and driving around with no nose after he got taken off early ways on the start. So definitely a tough time out there as they fight their way through. And Vaughan looks to be trying to make, Vaughan Hills in that Lumo Formula V trying to make up some ground as well. So interesting stuff going on as they fight it out. But DJ Boyson still leading out the pack and running through the S's now. That Formula Volkswagen has not lost its stride at all and still showing why it was a national car back in its day and now still putting in a huge fight. DJ Boyson's, if I remember correctly, is the current champion for the Libras down in Cape Town, if I remember correctly for that one. But he's having a great time out there, trying to push as hard as possible. Tyler Robertson also making up a bit of time. She's been having a great time with the likes of the Polos, really moving her way forward in that, and been a while since she's been in the Formula Volkswagen. But one of the Super V's minding down the way, blue flag conditions coming into play. As we go back, this looks to be Aiden Morrow that's in a bit of a fight and trying to make up a bit of ground at the moment. So the Morrow family going and racing Formula M's, trying to also get on the bit of defense. You can see how it shuffles around the circuit continuously as Lucian Ranchanda trying to make up a bit of ground, the 501. As he fights his way through, going to be side by side though, not going to have an easy time. Kenny Torres also going into play. So Lucian's lost out a lot of time here, and this is going to allow Ed Murrow on a big win. Now Kennedy Torres has got the advantage as he's got an 1800 in his car versus the 1600, but has aerodynamic advantage for the Super V of Lucian Ranchanda. But don't count out what the little Formula M can do with its 800cc, as it will really put the power down, and it does squirm around every so often. It just shuffles in terms of having to work very, very hard. It's a very physical car that you need to try and make it climb, but Kennedy Torres is going to be closing up that gap at a rate of knots. These two fought it out all season long with Formula Libre up here in the likes of Johannesburg, Red Star Raceway. They went to absolute toe-to-toe with one another. Now they're getting to relive all the action here at Kyalami and getting to have a huge amount of fun in the North versus South event. Well, it looks like the two Norths are going to be duking out. Kennedy lines up that inside, can't quite get past Ed Murray. He is going to keep the pressure on right the way through. So absolutely great stuff as it's going to be late braking. This is only helping Lucian Ranchanda to get away from the two.
Yeah, it's exactly what he would want. Someone else who's had a relatively quiet race, Tyler Robinson, almost in qualifying mode at the moment. There's a huge gap ahead and huge gap behind, so it's been quiet for her. Also quiet for the number 11 Hills car, but earlier on he was quite a lot closer to Brendan Hills, further into the front runners there in the top 7, top 8 positions. But having fallen away after that sudden drop into 11th, 12th place, it looks like he's in and about the 15th place now and relatively quiet. There definitely is something that happened there, Steve. Not normal running and pace for that number 11 Hills car.
Unfortunately, not quite where he wanted to be. And there is Peter Hills actually parked off on the side. So something has gone wrong badly. That he's actually parked off just before turn 2. So unfortunately, that has pretty much gone and wrote him out of the race at the moment. They will try and get that car up and going for race 2. But at the moment, he's going to be sitting on the sideline and just viewing out at the moment.
Unfortunately, it's a terrible way to start the race, or the day of racing rather, having to watch from the sidelines. But it comes with the territory, and it's exactly what makes them the kind of racing drivers they are, overcoming these types of challenges and continuing on to compete. I mean, someone from the beginning who hasn't let off is DJ Boyson, whose times also continue to fluctuate between the 151s and 52s. Seems to have dialed it in a lot more now. There were a couple of cool down sort of laps as he makes his way around one of the back markers there, but he's gotten back into that quicker pace and is starting to drop the times. Now someone just kicked up some dust at Cheetah.
That's Kennedy Torres, and you can see very unsettled on the way through. Now it's going to have Francois Jacobs behind him, and one of the Formula V's are chasing down. 3 laps to go, and Francois, who is battling with his little bit of grip at the moment. He's got a broken nose. So remember, he's only getting pressure on the rear, not on the nose. So this is now changing the balance of the car. Kennedy Torres, though, not having an easy time. Francois, big look up on the inside, gets the pass done and dusted. So now Smith, who's going to be watched. So let's go to a quick replay of see what happens. Yep, Kennedy Torres lost it. And it also looks like Jacobs followed suit. And Smith going and taking the dive to go for the pass. Got it on Francois, now tried it on Kennedy Torres, who's got a bit of dust on those tires, and now having to just try and scrub them as much as possible as they fight their way through. So huge racing going on there, but DJ Boyson going and making it lap after lap as they power these way through. Going to make it a fairly easy run at the moment, and well-deserved run nonetheless, as he just keeps pushing on, putting in some good lap time. So 152.6 on that last lap. His fastest lap is a 151.166. So has tapped off ever so slightly, but I think it's because of the traffic in that. Otherwise, he would be just going absolutely gung-ho right the way through as they push themselves to the limit here at Kyalami for race 1 of our single-seaters, our north versus south at the moment. So it's going to be an interesting one. I'm curious, though, to see how it's all going to turn out for the likes of Lucian Ranchanda, who's trying to make up a bit of time to the likes of Brandon Hills. Aidan Morrow has got away from it, but he's got Traden Chomp that's going to be on the back of him. Kennedy Torres trying to make up some ground. But Kennedy Torres and Francois Jacobs are running so far 11th, 12th, are still in a fight of their own. So that's something we've got to keep a very close eye, because Smith, who's also in the play there. So Kennedy Torres, 1800 Volkswagen on a Formula V chassis. You've got the likes of Francois Jacobs Super V, that's a 1600 on a single-seater chassis, and then you've got the Formula V making up a bit of ground as well. So Yannick Herber closing up. This is onto the back of Tyler Robertson. So Formula M versus Formula Volkswagen. I can tell you from every single fight that we've seen, Yannick Herber is not going to hold back. He's going to have the advantage in the corners, as the Formula 4 chassis, the build of it is a lot more helpful, and also that low-end power from the motorbike engine does help with going through. It's also got a low hum with that 1400 KTM as it comes by, versus the screamers of the Suzukis that are in the Formula M's.
Yeah, and as Evo Boyson, it's now a signature move for him down the inside at Crowthorne, as he pretty much has his own race to focus on. Quite a distance. It's a lap now between him and Meyer, who's a distance off. I want to see what happened there between Robertson and Herber, who's not too probably done with an overtaking move as it stands. Our timing screen has not reset yet, but it did look like that was pending going into Cheetah. We'll get that in a moment. But as it stands, there's an interesting fight going on here. It's been quite a quiet, not much mentions for that number 83 of Smith. He's not too far off from Jacobsen and Trump at all, actually. Not Trump in particular, with Jacobs. What, 0.8 of a second now? That gap has opened, but there was literally like 0.0 of a second, 0.02 of a second between Smith and Jacobs. So something, maybe a miss. He's going to have to adjust his racing lap, but it's the last lap. We literally got one lap remaining of this. Maybe he can't quite make something of the opportunities that have come his way.
This is all horsepower that's coming into play here, but remember, Jacobs hasn't got a nose on the car, so the balance is a little bit weird. But
yes, it was a 77 that lost the nose, yes.
So correct, he's going to have to keep an eye on Van Hilton tomorrow, who is trying to make up some time with Formula M. But DJ Boysen's going to make a nice cruise down the mine shaft, heading into the Crocodiles. He's going to be smiling ear to ear on this one. You can see going down through the gears from 6th, 5th to 4th to 3rd, and getting back on the power as catches up to Johnson. Annette having a little bit of a cruising time, better than what happened yesterday. She was trying to get to grips with the new, more power underneath her. And here comes DJ Boysen's up towards the checkered flag. Came up to Joburg and had a huge amount of fun. Will take the first checkered flag of the day. And DJ Boysen's making it 3 points for the South. And unfortunately for us in the North, we don't even have an option to tie it at the end. Damn. Oh, Yannick Huber with an accident.
The Crocodiles.
He's gone and hooked it. Nose is broken. He went up against Tyler Robertson.
Oh.
They hooked wheels. That would have been hooking wheels. That is a broken wishbone. And oh, man. So I think the Formula VW is going to be fine, but Yannick Huber has got his left front completely underneath the car, and that has taken him out completely out of the race. One of the fastest cars out there is now out of the race on the 3rd last corner.
And that was the incident, that was the moment between the two we thought had already cleared. It should have been easy for Kerr, but remember I asked you, I wonder if he cleared Robinson.
He hasn't got the horsepower.
Oh, my word.
The thing is, he's down on horsepower.
Yeah.
He needed the cornering.
Yeah.
And if Tyler went defensive and both didn't want to give, well, unfortunately, and you can see Yanni not in the best frame, seeing his car, his pride and joy. A little bit of a knock there, but our marshals just giving him a handshake saying, hey, well done for the race, nonetheless. Not the way I wanted it, but let's see what you can do. And you can be sure that the Gerber family will be sitting with spanners, tools, and everything they can to get that car back out and rolling. That is for certain. As they get ready to, they're going to have to move that car, unfortunately, into the Crocodiles. But DJ Boysen's going and taking the win, and I'll be the first one to say it, because Ernest Page will hear me. Well done to the South. You got us this time. We're going to make sure it's not 4 for 4. I'm going to go and have a chat to the guys, but it can't be 4 for 4. But it looks like the Coastal guys got one up on us. Even the change of altitude didn't stop them as yet.
Yeah, looks like the South guys are walking away with it. Looks pretty tough for the North guys. I don't know. I might have to change my allegiance, Steve. I just got into this rivalry, and I'm really liking what the South is doing. I must be honest. But wow, exciting right up until the way you're looking at me right now, Steve. I'm not going to pay attention to you. This is about Boysen. It's not about you. This is Boysen's race, and you just took race 1 for the single seaters in impressive fashion. Henriette van Veek, you're saying she's adapting to the increase. Oh, you can see some of the bodywork.
That nose was that was crunched properly.
Yeah.
So Henriette she's recently gone from a 1400 to a 1600 in the Super Vs, because they rules say 1600 engines, not the 1400s. Has to be the fuel injection. So a beautiful car, and she's been going and learning and growing with the car, and little by little getting to grips with it. But DJ Boysen's first into the pits, going to be smiling ear to ear on that. Henriette following suit right behind. But well done to DJ Boysen's on the finish. And there's a bit of recovery work. Peter Hills going and sitting next to his car before turn 2. Will be going and waiting to get pulled back to pits. And then we will see how it all goes. Yannick Huber going and looking at the drivers as they come on by. That's unfortunately going to require a flatbed. And he's already going and picking up bits of nose, bits of bodywork, helping out the marshals. And yeah, unfortunately, that is on the left side, so he must have took a dive down the left, going for the inside into Crocodiles, and unfortunately Tyler must have came across the nose and hooked wheels to break it like that. That is definitely a rear going over a front, and it looks like bodywork in the left front is going to need a bit of repair work there. But I'm sure they're going to get that car up and going. That is for certain. So let's go through the results, shall we? Because that was a bit of an interesting one, with DJ Boyson taking the overall win. Then you have got Alan Mayer taking second place, Tyler Robson managing to hold on to third, Hayden Elwood in fourth place, Aidan Melro coming in fifth with the Formula M's, Brandon Hills going and running in sixth with the Formula V's. Traden Chomp, the rookie year for him has turned into a positive one and managing to get himself in the top 10 here at the SAES. It's good to see it. Hayden Morrow running in 8th, so we've got both the Morrows going and having a bit of fun, followed by Kenny Torres and Smith running into that top 10. That is running through it all, but we will see them going back out on the track a little bit later. Francois Jacobs in 11th, Vaughan Hills in 12th, Pinar running in 13th. Yannick Herber, unfortunately, we saw and landed up with a huge amount of damage to his car. They were also going and trailing through a bit of traffic on the way through. That being said, I think I've got to go have a discussion with a certain single-seater, Mr. Alan Mayer. Can't let it be 444. Can't be. I'll have a chat to Tyler Robson as well. But that being said, next up is going to be a bit of fun as well.
Yeah, something that makes Ernest Page smile ear to ear. That's for sure. He's really enjoyed the Lotus class and all the racing that they've offered us over the course of the weekend. Now, I'm looking forward to seeing exactly how we can have a comparison. I think it's at this same time in the morning. It's quite similar conditions in terms of temperature, in terms of wind, as we've had yesterday. We don't necessarily have a benchmark from the warm-up, I believe, but looking at as it stands so far, still sunny, clear blue skies, and I think that is Peter Hills being cleared, but we haven't seen Gerber being collected at the moment, getting the remnants of what is left of the front bodywork of the car. Oh, we just touched the brakes.
Yeah, that was a bad idea.
That was he just barbecued his hand for a split second.
If that had happened at barbecue, that would have been good.
Oh, actually,
good,
full circle moment.
Good morning, people. My name is Dennis Page. I'm joining Prince now for the broadcast of the Lotus Challenge, and we'll be seeing Nick Hodgson, Thomas Faulkner, Oliver Wilmot, and the rest of the drivers in their combined classes. The championship implications are over for these guys.
Okay.
There are two classes, Class L and Class B. This event, though, is a combined race where it's just an out-and-out dash to the finish. So no championship talk on this one. This is just pure good old-fashioned racing. And we saw that yesterday with the Lotus race from yesterday, where these drivers, especially the front four, were really pushing quite hard, and the rest of the guys were trying to catch up. Some of them trying a little bit too hard through the S's. We saw 2 incidents through the S's yesterday, and today I'm very glad to be sitting here and commentating with this one, because yesterday I had a little bit of FOMO.
Yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait to be riding shotgun with you on this one, because you're very excited, so I'm going to live vicariously through you. But some of the names that stood out from yesterday's racing, I mean, Stable Gable, the likes of Jeremy, they're very racy. Steve has told me how competitive they are, and they know each other very well and have a long history in the Class B segment.
So they race fairly towards one another, and you can see that, especially the front four, it was very close yesterday. And even when they had the red flag or the double yellows, and there was a safety car incident, one of the front runners bumped into the back of one of the others here on the main straight, because the one car in front backed off, and then the other one gave him a bit of a love tap. So it was that close in the front of the field. I expect to see the same today.
Yeah, and it's always great to have racing drivers that you're familiar with, and you have a long much you can trust them going into really tricky spaces, like trying to overtake at the S's, for example, or the tricky place at the double apex at Loikorp, all difficult places to navigate, and you need a fair degree of trust between each other as racers.
Exactly, and trust it really is one of those situations where you know that this guy's not going to outbreak himself, he's not going to do anything silly, he's not going to do anything that's going to jeopardize both of you, but at the same time, if it's his opportunity to put the car there, if it's your opportunity to put the car there, that's what you're going to do.
Now, the irony is we're talking about this in hindsight of the Lotus cars yesterday, but we're looking at a situation right now where we're questioning how much trust was there between Gerber and Robinson in that particular instance, and how confident was Gerber about taking the inside. Well, all of that, it happened slightly out of frame, just out of frame. So we'll see if we're able to find out exactly how all of that went down. But you can see, a number of miscalculations occurred there at Crocodiles.
Yeah, it's one of those things, though. Racing incidents do happen. That is motorsport. When you look at the sport like NASCAR, for example, and the guys go to Talladega, the conversation is often around the case of when is the big one? There's going to be an incident. Is it going to be today? Is it going to be this weekend?
Yeah.
So when it comes to motorsport incidents, it's just one of those things that happen. The South African culture, of course, is that we try to avoid as many incidents as possible. But on the professional level, these things do happen. I'm sure the 42 guys they've had adversity before in motorsport, so they're going to go back to the pits. They're going to get the car sorted and come back again later. That is the name of the game. Thankfully, though, the damage is not too severe, and these single seaters are quite modular. They've got control arms that can come off and go back on again, as long as the chassis is not punctured or damaged. In this case, I would imagine a tube frame chassis. So if the chassis is not damaged, you can replace a lot of those parts, and they're quite simple to work on compared to a tin top car where everything's kind of packed away and hidden. And a BMW E46 M3 was never really made to go racing. So this car, from the ground up, from day one, the first time the pen was laid down to design this car, it was built to go racing and also built to be fixed again.
Yep. Well, that would maybe explain why Gerber seems relatively at ease. I mean, I was looking at him on the side, looking at the car now, because unfortunately he's not at the checkered flag.
He's literally meters away from the checkered flag.
What I mean?
About half a K away from the checkered flag.
Exactly, but he didn't seem too despondent and disappointed, because he knows we still have a race too, still a long way to go. So we'll build it up and get going.
Yeah, sometimes, as they say, sometimes you're the hammer, sometimes you're the nail. And in this case, unfortunately, it's not. He came off second best. The other car did manage to go and complete the lap, as far as I could see.
Yes.
So
Robinson did recover.
He came off second best on this one. That's for sure.
Yeah, the Marshall's nearly there in terms of recovering. Gabriel's KTM, which I hear is quite impressive around several circuits. I particularly heard that around Red Star sets a really, really decent lap time.
I would imagine the Formula M's with the motorbike engines are fast on the shortest circuits. Kyalami, though, is a speed circuit, and the Formula VW is just on another level here. All the Formula VWs.
Yeah.
So, the shortest circuits, you got that tighter gear ratio. You've got an engine that's a high revving bike engine. And funny enough, Red Star Raceway is a bike circuit, so maybe
a match made in heaven.
There's some sort of advantage to be gained there if you've got
possibly
a slight motorbike setup. Who knows? But there's the body language right there. Hands on the hips.
Like, where do I start?
Yeah, inspecting the damage.
He's going through his toolbox in his mind.
Literally.
Okay, that's a 16, that's a 24.
But that's what one has to do. One has to spring to action. The team is more than likely watching this in the pits as we speak. And they are now starting to lay out those tools, get ready, assessing what they think could be the damage. And by the time he gets back, they're either going to say, you know what, we're ready to do this, or are we going to call it if it is terminal, which I doubt at this stage.
Yeah, no, not at all. I suppose a degree heavier than cosmetic, it looks like, for the time being.
Definitely. My only concern is that this car's suspension components are potentially not shared with some of its competitors.
Yes, because there's such an array of styles and builds of cars.
But there must be some sort of parity with someone, or the team has got spares available.
Okay, we'll see. That'll be an interesting chat. We'll find out a bit more about that in between now and race 2. But if you've just joined us and you just hopped on, we are chugging about. The train continues to choo-choo. It is round 6 of the SCS 9 hours of Kyalami, and we just enjoyed the first offering from our support races. The single-seaters just came and went with the first race, and in the battle for North versus South, Steve Koenig just took a massive blow and walked out of this commentary booth despondent because the South is staking its claim on single-seater honors with Boysons, who just took this race. The number 20 of DJ Boysons, who just took the win for the single-seaters. We're building up now to the Lotus challenges coming up next. Once we've cleared, the marshals have helped and assisted Gabba in collecting his car and all of the debris off the circuit. They're very close to the pit exit, so that's not going to take too long. And then we're going to get back underway with the Lotus challenge.
Yeah, Lotus challenge coming up next. And then after that, sports and GT race number 2. Then later on will be more single-seater racing. And then after that will be the lunchtime break at about 11 o'clock. Then we go on live with Supersport at 12 o'clock. And Supersport, of course, will be broadcasting this event on channel 210. And then later on we'll do the grid walk just after 12. And the racing should start at 1 o'clock. Myself and Prince will be kicking off the racing at 1 o'clock. I'm very much excited for that. Very, very much excited for that as we get to the later part of the day. It is going to be an incredible day's racing, and we look forward to seeing how the rest of this day goes. Prince, man, me and you are going to be doing the 9-hour start later on. It's going to be a good day.
Oh, I can't wait. I can't wait. I've been building up to this moment for 4 rounds now.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
4 rounds.
So speaking of the 4 rounds,
Yeah.
I really enjoyed your guys' breakdown of the previous 4 rounds. Yourself and Nadine
Yep.
did a wonderful summary of what's happened this year. And I really enjoyed, as someone that needed to get up to speed on what was going on, I played that thing on loop, man, just to listen to what was going on this year. So from your perspective, going into the 9-hour, what are some of the highlights for you as these guys in the Lotus Cup do their warm-up laps?
Well, there's so many. I think Red Star set the benchmark in terms of how Red Star and Aldo Scribante were the really difficult rounds in the sense that, like, the forces of nature at Aldo Scribante, at Red Star, cars are set to light and on or beast on the side. When you think the race has come to an end, particularly for the likes of the carbon car with Steve Clark.
Yes.
I mean, he was on the side getting his fire extinguisher out literally with 20 or 30 minutes to
I saw
go.
that.
Exactly. Tim Kobani also suffered the same fate at Red Star. The likes of the Samlin Racing team, 4 entries, fully committed, first year into this championship, and they put in 4 cars for that race and finished with 2, I believe, but all of them had issues at some point.
Yeah.
So all of that set the stage for how much all of these teams were going to have to endure. Smoothish running for the entries we had. The likes of BBR performed very well there. It came almost down to the wire towards then, but after that, I'd say, yeah, those were the 2 rounds that really stood out for me. Swart Corps was the kitty litter more than anything. Turn 4 was a very popular place for a lot of the cars. But yeah, it set the stage, and I think Aldo Scribante coming in is sort of like a great equalizer because you now have to use driver skill.
Yes.
You now have to really hone your craft in the wet, which is a difficult thing to do, especially for the Class E's.
Torrential rain here was the order of the day.
Exactly. And can you imagine with your Class E's a very already loose
so
rear,
loose.
and you're going to have to be...
There's talk about running a wet tire for Class E
Yes.
when the time comes.
Yes.
But speaking of wet, I don't see any sign of wet weather today. There's been some talk of it raining at some stage. I don't mind a little bit of rain when I'm watching racing. And racing in the rain can be fun, but it can also go wrong very, very quickly, as we have seen many times now. The Formula Lotus drivers make their way through the S's as they head up towards the top of the hill and back down towards Leeuwkop. This is going to be one of those days where these drivers really try now to get that win on the big stage here at Kyalami. If you've just joined us, thanks so much. You are watching the South African Endurance Series, and this is one of our support races taking place right now. The Lotus Challenge, 2 classes combined. Class B and Class L have been competing all year for the championship, with Nick Hodgson securing that championship title. But now it's all about head-to-head racing. The championship is in the bag. It's one of those races at the end of the year that many guys look forward to, because you now don't have to strategize as much for the championship. You just got to go out there and race as hard as you can and see where you end up by the time the flag drops.
And what a place to be able to have that liberty of just racing. Kyalami is the perfect place to do it.
Yeah.
Where you can
Yeah,
enjoy
imagine.
yourself to close off the year. I can imagine how elated all of these racing drivers feel about being here. Now, I'm just looking at the size and stature of these cars. We may be looking at a similar setup in terms of handling characteristics with the single seaters to some extent. Not definitely on the aero side of things. I think mechanical grip
This
is
car's
more the
got
conversation.
aerodynamic efficiency of a Breca. I've extensively driven a Birkin, and yeah, there's just wind. There's just wind resistance everywhere. Most of these guys, in fact, don't have the windscreen on the car, so they are getting a lot of wind buffeting.
Yes.
But that does lead to close racing, and we've seen that yesterday as the drivers now make their way onto the grid. There goes the number 79 car over there, and yeah, these drivers now make their way onto the grid. That is Norke, and we saw him yesterday getting into some thick and fast battles as they now make their way onto the grid for the start, a standing start. So once the lights go out, the drivers hit the gas, drop the clutch, and hope for the best into turn one, where I'm sure we will be seeing lots and lots of action. There goes the 21 car of Human.
I'm trying to look for Jeremy because I believe he had an engine issue. Did he have there was nose damage, of course. He had an incident with Gable, but there was also an engine issue, I hear, with his car yesterday. So I hope they've overcome that and managed to get everything sorted. You've got them trying to line themselves up and get their ducks in a row in terms of the grid at the moment, because you've got the right side or R left on the screen, but the even numbers seem to be okay. The odds are now trying to line themselves up for the starting grid. Okay, we've got one of ours already ready now. The marshals are just making sure that there's enough space for them to navigate as well, because okay, it's getting better. We've got even size on both, but yeah, we're just gonna have to make sure all the classes, also it's arranged according to class as well, so that we don't have an issue in terms of scuffle and space with different performance levels. Marshals are happy, and we're gonna see our 2-minute board coming out now, and engine notes start to change.
As the revs start coming up shortly, the nerves are kicking in as the drivers feel the tingles of a race that's about to start. It is one of the final moments that they get to spend in the car for the season, so they want to make the most of it. 5 seconds to go before the lights go out. We should see the red lights up ahead. Yes, we do. And now it's go, go, go. And there goes Human and Norke just behind him on the outside over there. Are they going to be able to make the dive into turn one? The rest of the field follows on. So far, no incidents as they make their way into turn one. Human slots in behind in second position. Norke there on the outside. And as they're going to turn one, Human's going to try and make a dive for it down the inside. Will he make it through? No, the door gets closed over there. And the door gets closed as the rest of the field make their way through. So far, so good, clean racing. And now it's just time to figure out who will be in that front bunch. Yesterday we saw 4 cars breaking away. It's going to be anybody's game at this stage.
The shape of that front three hasn't changed. And we're down with Yuxke. We're going on now up into Sunset, and it's still very difficult to tell who's actually got the ascendancy. But Norke seems pretty good going into Clubhouse. They clear Sunset now, and going into Clubhouse has about a car length or so between the following two, with Finley as well as Human.
The top 4 guys have once again sort of separated themselves from the rest of the field as they make their way into the S's, and now down the S's they go. There's a 5th car in that gaggle over there. The rest of the field tightly packed together, but look at just how close the racing is up front. The 21 car in second place, Human in second place over there, goes it on the outside now, but defensive goes the front running car over there. Human's going to try and make that stick around the outside. Can he do it? Oh, it's so close. Fantastic racing so far. Oh my goodness me.
Wow.
That was a little bit too close for comfort. Now through the sweep over here, the mine shaft sweep, and they try and they dare not go side by side through there.
Well, I don't think they're too afraid of the prospect of being side by side, judging by what the first lap looks like at the moment. But going into Crocodile, that front 4 again, still trying to establish who's got the ascendancy, because they look matched on pace as far as it stands. Getting that front right wheel, okay, there on that rumble strip, very close to the sausage curb, but managed to keep the car in decent position. We've got Human now a lot closer than before, so hitting that curb, maybe punishing Norke a bit now. And Human also has someone in tow there. That front three is not coming apart at all going into Crowthorne. Human's going to have a look down the inside. How late on the brakes this time around, was a bit shy going into the beginning of lap 1 and has to be careful this time around. A bit of a touch there between Noke and the third runner there who I can't recognize yet. We'll clear that up for you in a moment. But in the meantime, it's getting even more exciting than lap 1. It's only building up at the moment. Noke still has the ascendancy coming out of Crowthorne going into Barbecue now. But as they approach sunset, it's again, concertinas constantly.
And in second place, Jeremy in third, Noke in... Oh, side by side goes Gable and Human. It is a side-by-side battle in the front. Oh, my goodness me. Oh, as they come into that turn number 7 over there, that's Clubhouse. And side by side with Clubhouse is not a good idea. And it's even worse idea to go side by side through the S's. And they're back off now, only 3 cars in the front. Something's happened to that 4th runner over there. Something's happened to what looks like Noke.
Yep.
21 car is second at the moment, so Human has gone up to second place as they make their way to the top of the hill once again. And again, these drivers are attacking. No holds barred at this stage as they make their way through down the mine shaft once again, and going defensive are both of them, because each of these drivers is either attacking or being attacked, as once again the racing continues down towards the final sector of the circuit.
Ernest, all I can think of is, why did I miss yesterday's race? Because this is incredible. But yeah, still so much for this front three to offer us at the moment. And we do beg your apologies. There was a bit of a mix-up there with our timing, but we're back on now. We can probably recognize exactly who's who in the zoo at the moment, and there's nothing in between that front three. We've got 0.1 of a second or so, if time is anything to go by, but your eyes can tell you exactly how close this is. We've got Noke with the 79 in the lead, running the situation. Gable in second and Human in third. Human's been watching from a distance for a bit. Is Human in the front now?
Second place over there. That's Human in second place.
Okay.
And Noke in first place. Oh, Human loses a little bit under braking there, and Gable watches on. We just confirming the timekeeping over here, but yeah, Noke is Human is in second position.
In second, yeah, the 21
over there,
car.
so that must be Gable in front there. But our timing at the moment, as I said, is...
Yeah, it's Noke in third, Human in second, and Gable out in the lead.
Okay,
yeah.
So we've got Noke in third place there, just behind Human. But Gable somehow managing to fend off Human. Human did make a small mistake, but it does look like he has the pace going through the lap. I think it's a matter of time before Human gets within that striking distance as the rest of the field comes up. Gable goes defensive now. And Gable goes defensive over there as Human in second place tries to attack.
He's got 6 laps to attack, and 6 laps really seems like a long time. Now, as they clear the S's, you can see Gable going all, he's committing to that curb. He really doesn't mind. He's got that signature dink from yesterday's coming together with, was it Falconer? No, it wasn't. It was Jeremy. It was Jeremy that he came together with. He's got that dink, and you can see why he'd be in a position to get a dink on his car. He doesn't mind racing.
Yeah. No, not at all, but none of these guys seem to mind at all. They don't mind at getting close. There's no paint swapping happening here because there's not much paint to swap. All you can do is get close, because if wheels touch, you've got big problems. And now we see them making their way to the end of the lap. And Gable, Human, Noke, the 3 front runners at the moment. Findlay further back, Faulkner in Class B in 5th place. Faulkner having won the championship 2 years ago. I'm surprised to not see him right up front, although he did mention he hasn't been competing much this year. So he big sideways moment on the exit there. He hasn't competed much this year.
Not at all. And someone who's not competing much at now is Findlay. Findlay seemed to be in the mentions in that front 4, front 5 earlier on, and now he's falling away. What happened there?
Yeah,
I do wonder. But a side-by-side between Human and Gable, who's laid on the brakes. It is Gable. He managed to keep it, but Human now has to compromise and take the curb at turn 1.
Yeah, so we've got now the 99 car of Gable in front. We've got Human just slotting in behind them. The two of them are going at it, hammer and tongs, as they say. And down now towards the sweep, sunset sweep, and thankfully no sunset in these guys' eyes at the moment. If they can make it through here without any hassles, it's into the left-hander and through the S's, but we've seen it's been close, especially here, and this is one of the overtaking moments here. Will he make the move? Is Human going to be able to attack in that section. No, he's not. And here, once again, I think he's close enough and I think he's fast enough. He's just got to find that moment to get past.
Yes, it looks like he found a 10th there by going a bit wider and going a bit wider right at Clubhouse in particular. It seems to have helped him and given him some drive, and that's all paid off through the S's and going away all the way up to Loiko. Looking like they could have been side by side, but he's backed off a bit, not quite worth the commitment as yet, and he may be very well cognizant. He is cognizant of the fact that we've got 5 more laps, so he's just trying to study maybe and see where Gable's giving him a gap, and then he can optimize between now and checkered flag falling.
Yeah, well, it is about who wins the race on the last lap, isn't it? It's still 5 laps to go, and if he can apply pressure now and just wait for that moment to attack, then that's what he needs to do. It is a game of strategy. It's a thinking man's game. So let's see who will be able to outsmart who, as both of them, Gable and Human, get a little bit squirrely over there as they cross paths with the big sausage curb. 21 car still in second place with Human there. That's Gable in first position. Third place, Nokai now just out of reach as they cross the line, and there goes Gable into the distance. Human trying to hold on with the slipstream. Human now going around the outside. Once again, we will surely see an attack here. First goes outside. Is he going to duck back inside? I think that's the move to do here, but just not close enough is the 21 car. The third place man, Nokai, now watching on, hoping that the two will tussle with each other and somehow manage to draw him closer. But I've got to say, Gable driving a fine race at this stage with a best time of 202.3. Second place with a time of 202.5, third with a 202.8. So all of them setting their fastest lap times at this stage, but the rest of the field just not.
Human down the inside on Gable.
Down the inside, side by side, and this is the spot we were talking about. This is where the overtaking opportunity is. He closes the door. He closes the door. And it looks like the 21 cars made it past. Oh, side by side now. And who's going to make it into the S's first? Gable retakes the lead. Gable retakes the lead, ladies and gentlemen. Gable retakes it. Can you believe that? The 21 cars slot back into position. I thought that overtaking move was done for sure.
There's something about going wider out at Clubhouse, because Human found the same drive the previous lap and sort of threatened Gable, but didn't quite commit going up into Loiko. Gable did the same thing and made it stick, despite the fact that he had lost pace and compromised his line when Human went down the inside at the end of Sunset.
It
so
is.
There's something about Clubhouse.
Here's a big battle happening over here. Big battle happening over here. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cars fighting for position, and this is what we've come to see. And again, side by side through the S's. This is not going to end well, or will it? 2 cars battle through the S's over here. That is the number 55 car gets overtaken by 2 other cars, unfortunately.
That is Dunford.
That is Dunford. Yeah, Dunford gets overtaken by 2 cars. The Toy, Maxwell, Oliver, all in the mix there. As we cut back to your leaders now. The position fight for 1 and 2 is still on between Gable and Human with just 4 laps to go and now 3 laps to go as they cross the line, making their way now towards the first turn at Kyalami Grand Prix circuit. And Human looking all over the place here, back, forth, left and right, ducking and diving inside and out as he tries to find a way past. Can he do it? And up on that back non-existent bumper is our man Human as Gable tries to defend off yet another attack that's been unrelenting since the start of this race.
Yeah, Gable's bumper living up to its namesake. Gable's also showing his what for now I want to call a PhD in car placement. He hasn't set a wheel wrong, and you can see it's getting Human out of shape. He doesn't know quite where to place his car turn 1, which arguably is a decent enough, wide enough area for you to try and get an overtake and move going. Here we go. If you go right, you have a good drive. So watch Human going away all the way into Loiko. He's going to have a very good drive.
That was very clever.
Coming out of that, yeah.
That was very clever of Gable over there. He turned left and didn't go wide so that
he blocks off Human.
Blocked him off. Yeah,
very
because
smart.
as you said, car placement.
Yeah.
Car placement is so important. Oh, that's the moment. That's the moment right there that could cost Gable the lead. Human now goes down the outside towards the tree, towards the top of Blue Corp. I think he might just have enough if he's brave enough on the brakes. Will he do the undercut? And this gives our third place man, Nokai, now a little bit of more, the ability to get a little bit closer. And there's the oversteer moment. You really got to watch out for the oversteer exit on these cars. You lose a lot of time that way.
I'm really happy Riaz, and I've been watching Nokai in the meantime all this battle, but we're going to come to Nokai in a moment. It's so Gable and Human. There's something about the exit of these cars that is quite interesting to observe. If you look, Gable's line in particular now, going out onto the curb. He tries to smoothen it out a bit, but he can't this time around and go out too wide because he's got Human to worry about. They like to go out all the way onto the curb in the rumble strip at Crocodile. It gives them a better line. But if you're in racing action like Gable is now, you can't really use the maximum of the circuit.
We're watching the front runners now, but if you look further down on those timing sheets, you see Hepburn, the Toy, all fighting for position. You've got Favo and Dunford fighting for position. You've got Rip and De Silva also having big battles further down the order. But the battle we're looking at here is Human now around the outside. This could be it once again. I've said it so many times. Oh, they almost touch wheels there. Gable with a move to go defensive. Gable's gone deep, but Human cannot make it count. Gable
is smart.
He's smart.
Gable is very smart because an up and under is so possible at turn 1, but what he does, he delays his turn in.
Yes.
He goes in so deep that it neutralizes Human's attempt to do that.
I feel like Gable is really playing the smart game in front here, and he's quite the tactician, whereas Human is attacking. I think now with 2 laps to go, this is where it comes down to, because oftentimes people talk about the fact that the pressure is mounting. I don't believe that pressure mounts. Pressure is pressure, and it's there lap after lap. So let's see if our man Gable can treat each lap as an individual lap and not let that pressure mount, as they say.
Compartmentalize everything. So it's really starting afresh every single time. And he's literally doing the same thing. It's just textbook car placement. Did the exact same move at Clubhouse for the past 2 or 3 laps now. And he's managed to defend Human time and time again. Human's really going to have to find a new route around the circuit because Gable's really not letting or giving an inch for him to get by. In the meantime, Noke seems to have, I think, accepted and conceded the position he's in at the moment. It really looked like he could run with them maybe 4 laps ago, but Gable and Human, despite the fact that they were fighting, really started to shave away the lap time. Just sitting in the 2-minute 3s, 3 dead.
2-minute 3s.
Around that mark.
The front group guys are about on that pace, 2:04, 2:05 for the guys further down the field. Faulkner with a 2:04.9. He is currently in 5th position. And now there is a slight gap as we head down to the final lap of the race, and maybe we can have a look at one of those battles further back if possible, because until maybe Human makes another attack on that front position. A 2:01.6 for Gable, so Gable now really truly has dropped the hammer. Gable really now truly has dropped the hammer much faster than anybody else on the grid at the moment. And look at that wide line over there as Human now unfortunately just not able to capitalize on that. I don't think he's going to be able to get within striking distance now on this final lap.
And he went a bit too aggressive on the exit at Crowthorne there, and he lost the rear bit. It's only now starting to come undone towards the end, but he's really held in and stayed with that fight for the duration of the race with Gable. But Gable, again, like I said, has just a PhD in car placement. He hasn't set a wheel wrong the entire race.
Jeff Stable Gable, they call him, in the lead of this race at the moment, with Andre Human in 2nd place over there. We got JP Norke in 3rd position, and that is what your top 3 winners look like in the Lotus Challenge race number 2 of the weekend. It's been an exciting Lotus Challenge event, and there's a little bit of damage at the back there. That might be from yesterday's shunt on the main straight.
It is from yesterday's shunt, and the person he was in the shunt with, that is Jeremy, has an equal, I suppose if that's the female bump or dink, then
equal and opposite
on the front of his car. So there's balance in this universe, the little Lotus universe.
Indeed, Jeff Gable leads us off on the final couple of corners of race number 2. He will, if everything goes according to plan in that number 99 car, make his way across the checkered flag in moments from now. Human, Findlay, Faulkner, Hodgson, Maxwell, Oliver Hepburn, the Toy make up your top 10 with close racing all over the circuit. Unfortunately, we didn't get to show all the racing because we've been following this battle up front, but hopefully those that want to see it are here at the circuit and can see it for themselves. But for now, the moment belongs to Jeff Stable Gable as he crosses the line in 1st place, followed by Andre Human, JP Norke in 3rd position. And that is what your top 3 looks like in the Lotus Challenge 2nd race of the day. The rest of the field now makes their way through, and as you can see, close battles all the way down the field. Every racer, every mechanic, every team has a story to tell. Speaking of stories to tell, across the line, something's gone on one of the cars just across the line there. Luckily, that happened right then and there because, yeah, it looked like something on the engine actually went.
Yeah, it looks
Hopefully
like
no oil on the circuit.
yeah, threaded to match the number of laps possibly. That's really right down to the last lap across the checkered flag.
Literally.
But there was some excitement with the number 55 of Dunford as well. Dunford, Reap, and Da Silva made a number of places during the course of the race. I think there's our car on the side. Isn't that Falconer? That, if I'm not, no, that's not Falconer. That's number 2. Falconer's number 1. That is Hodgson who's the number 2.
Hodgson's actually in the number 1 car. Hodgson's
Number
in
2,
the-
yeah, it is Falconer.
It is Falconer.
Yeah, it is Falconer on the
It
side.
is
Something
Falconer.
went there, and it looked like one of his wheels wasn't sitting quite correctly as the remainder. the class.
So maybe it wasn't engine smoke, it could have been a wheel touch.
Yeah.
Faulkner did mention to us that he hasn't spent that much time in the series this year. So if that means that he missed a lot of races, he's prepped for this one because he wanted to do this one. As there goes the 99 car, Stable Gable gives the crowd a bit of a wave there, and he must be very happy with his performance.
And I like that you mentioned the crowd. It tells you people are eager to be here for today. So
Oh,
if
yeah.
you still have a chance to rush to getting your tickets, get to the gates. We've already opened, we've already welcomed a number of fans, and they've chosen their positions across some of the grandstands and across the track around different positions for the general access ticket. Of course, you can bring your cap chair, cooler box, your whole family set up and enjoy yourself for an awesome day of racing that we have in store for you. We've come and seen the single-seater challenge first of all. We just wrapped up the Lotus challenge right now, and in the single-seaters there was plenty of excitement and things to talk about
We
there.
saw Gerber's car
Yeah.
having an incident on the last lap, and I've just got footage of that car now. And the arms in front, as you can see, I'm showing my co-commentator here. The arms are all bent up, out of shape. Back wheel is curb rashed. That's the front wheel, so
Yep.
yeah, front wheel.
Front
got
left,
some-
yeah.
Front left got some curb rash on there, so clearly a big shunt, completely bent. And at this stage, the murmurs in the pits are that they might not have, or they're not sure if they have the requisite spares
Yeah.
to make this problem go away.
Oh, jeez, and if you look at the rods there, I believe the terms are push rod and pull rod. That is looking like spaghetti rods at the moment. Like it's all twisty.
Bolognese.
Bolognese. Exactly. So
Now
hopefully
that's all I'm picturing now. You
Yeah,
know that, right?
yeah.
Metal bolognese. Unfortunately, the order of the day for some of the drivers today. We're going to be doing a swap over now shortly as our two co-commentators join us. There are your results for the Lotus Challenge Race 2. It is in front. We got Stable Gable, Human in second place, Noke in third place, and Finley in fourth. Thomas Faulkner, your 2022 champion, gets fifth place. Nick Hodgson, your current champion, gets sixth place, surprisingly. I'd love to find out from Nick where some of that pace is, because I know that these guys are incredibly fast, but they are in two different classes, though, Faulkner and Hodgson. Hodgson in class L, so it would make sense that he's quite a bit slower. Faulkner, Finley, Noke, Human and Gable in class B, which is the slightly faster of the two Lotus classes. But either way, action aplenty in the Lotus Challenge.
Did you enjoy that?
Oh yeah, I did. I did.
Should have filmed you jumping up and down in your chair. Of course, it's a real privilege for us to be here. So thanks, Ernest. Ernest's going to be leaving us in a moment. Brendan Kelly's going to be jumping in. Of course, we've had our first two support races now this morning, and we are looking forward to our third support race, which is the Sports and GT. Brendan Kelly, Mr. Motormouth himself, joining me shortly. We're just recovering those vehicles that were out on the track from our Lotus Challenge, and the boys are certainly, and ladies, enjoying being here as support race for the 9 hours of Kyalami. You've been down there a little bit in the pits, Brendan. Vibes exciting.
The vibe is very, very exciting, but not so much in the pits. There's lots of nervous tension there, but I tell you what, the vibe amongst the spectators is absolutely electric, and I just can't believe the amount of people that are pouring into the circuit already. You know, the queues of cars at the gate when we came through around 6 o'clock this morning. I mean, the queues of cars were there already. So I urge anybody that is in the very near vicinity to get here, because it's all going to come down to the action that starts at 1 o'clock today, the 9 hours of Kyalami. But lots and lots of other activity. There's the music concert that's going on, 16 acts up there. And then the lifestyle market, there's a flea market, and I tell you what, the amount of food vendors, I've never seen so many food vendors in one place at the same time. So a wide variety, and there's also karting. You can go. They've got a kart circuit set up, so you can go and on the skid pan area, you can go and play there. So a whole day out for the whole family. So as I said, urge anybody to get here.
Yeah, of course, lots happening, and we are just thrilled to be able to bring you all of the live coverage right here on our SAES YouTube channel. And of course, we're going live on Supersport a little bit later on today. It's a jam-packed sporting day across the nation, and we're certainly looking forward to bringing you the top level of motorsport and the conclusion to the season right here today. I've been walking through the pits, lots of drama, lots of happenings. We've had an engine change from one of our front runners. We've had one of our leaders waiting for oil to arrive. They've changed all the oil in the car, the blood life of the car, and they're still waiting for that to arrive. So last minute things happening. So what we've got coming up is the last support race, the Sports and GT. Then we start to focus on the 9-hour, the warm-up sessions taking place, and looking forward to a cracking day together. Well, there we go. I don't often get to see that. A bit of a lift in more ways than one. Back up to the main straights, and the Lotus Challenge and the single-seaters have a sort of a makeshift pit just to the right of your picture right now, and they're very much closer to the action, which I think they're enjoying, because the usual support pits has been taken up by the music festival.
Absolutely.
So they're enjoying being close, and there you can actually see them on the right.
See the VIP areas, the crowd's already starting to fill in there, and just the whole atmosphere and anticipation, and look at the crowds are already on the embankments, and that's I still need to get to that area of the circuit. Once the 9-hour gets going and I'm off commentary, I'm going to grab one of the golf carts and go around to that side of the circuit. I've got some friends that are sitting along there, so I'm just going to go and touch base with them, and the list. I mean, the list of celebrities and dignitaries that we're going to be that are going to be in attendance here today is also absolutely phenomenal. So just a massive congratulations to the CEO of the South African Endurance Series, to Wayne Riddell and his team. They have pulled out all stops and put on a brilliant show here.
Yeah, you saw in one of those images a bit of a heat haze. So just in terms of conditions for our viewers, the wind's a little stiff breeze coming up the main straight. Actually very similar conditions to yesterday, not a cloud in the sky except far in the horizon, and certainly is perfect for racing. But yesterday we actually saw, the times not as fast as we thought they would be in the mornings. It sort of was in the cooler conditions in the evening.
Correct, yeah.
A lot faster.
Yeah, and then I mean the wind this morning, it had a bit of a nip in it. It was rather chilly, and when we arrived at the circuit, and we've been given good authority that the rain is going to stay away today. We're going to keep punting that fact, because I just overheard somebody talking about the other day and said 11 years of the 9 hours of Kyalami, it has rained. There has been rain at some stage of the race, so hopefully this is going to be the game changer this weekend.
Well, of course, we had big rain on Wednesday, which made the track a little bit slippery. That's all been gone and long forgotten now. Lots of rubber laid down from all the support races, and a lot of time. In fact, just to mention before we go to our Sports and GT, that last night the night practice actually came to an abrupt end after one of the cars spilt oil all the way down that pit lane support race, all the way down. You can see the marshal done an outstanding job. There's no trace of it at all.
Yeah, that was the Marius Jackson Audi, the R8, the little R8 that spilled its oil. And Marius, we chatted to him afterwards. He had been to have a look at what had happened, and he just said, "Oh no, we're just going to go replace the motor, put a new engine." And he says less than 2 hours they'll have a new engine in the car. So he wasn't too perturbed at all.
When I popped in this morning to see how did it go, they said, they only did it this morning. they didn't do it last night. They thought they'll go get a good night's sleep. They came in early, and when I was there, they were about 20 minutes away from finishing. So, anyway, these guys continue to amaze us. Anyway, our focus turns now to the incredible Sports and GT. It's been wonderful to have them. I must say that these cars are looking absolutely stunning, and fans walking down the pit lane who've got the VIP access have been photographing these as much as they are the 9-hour cars. But I can confirm that the 99, I saw it being rolled onto a flatbed at the back, so I think the 99 car is not going to be... Yeah, so I did see it at the back, unless it's miraculously made a resurgence. We're not going to see the 99 out. Otherwise, then we're expecting 12 starters here for the SA and GT. Now, this is a support race, eh?
This is a support race, but I tell you what, that number 112 car with JP Mauro, our Brazilian driver that is here this weekend, that is going to, I think, be one of the highlights of the weekend. This young man certainly isn't shy to throw that big car around the circuit at 110%, and beautiful. He's got different lines. We'll see during the course of and we saw it yesterday. Different lines, carrying lots and lots of speed. So the nervous anticipation that we're going to go there. And just on the live timing, we've got Kesha Naika appearing twice. I think there's just a little mistake there.
It'll get sorted now.
The number 9 and the number 99 car.
Yeah, just to mention quickly, Sun Mudley, you mentioned JP Mauro, they raced together yesterday in the 3 hours.
Correct. In
this beautiful AMG Mercedes, and so JP Mauro is just having too much fun, so he's going to be in this race here today. And then Sun Mudley's got his other little Porsche with him, the beautiful one behind him on the grid, and so we'll see them lining up together. So they're probably going to be 3rd and 5th on the grid, but only one man that we're expecting to march away with this victory, aren't we?
I'm wondering who's going to be pushing him. Sun not quite matching the pace of JP Mauro. Jimmy Giannacaro, we could see him going up there, but they've been also just slightly off pace in the G&H racing car at this stage. So we'll see Uli San out there as well, and then Craig Jarvis in the 68 car, further on back down the grid, but he could be a contender.
I think you're being nice here. I think there's only one car in this race to beat it, the one that does the Samola hill climb, the
Lotus.
The monster with its massive rear wing, the number 18 in the front. I don't think anyone else is going to challenge. Look, Craig Jarvis stayed with him for a bit, JP Mauro yesterday, a little bit with him. So the front three hopefully will stay together for the spectators as we get the, looks like a 1 minute board coming up. Yeah, 1 minute board for our starters now. And this is really just a showcase race for the fans here at the track. And looking forward to getting things underway. So keep an eye on the front three. Craig Jarvis in that beautiful Janetta. It's a 3rd generation now. Is here talking to the team. We've got green flag, which means that we're going to get underway slowly, and we're going to be behind the safety car to go around, and it'll be a rolling start here for the SA GT Sports and GT race. A bit of a slow start from the 84. The beautiful number 9. That's one of your favorites, the other Lotus, in that beautiful colors there.
Yes, indeed, yeah. And we just, the lifetime is still showing Kesha Naika in the number 9 car. But we'll just wait for the live timing to get itself sorted out. But the car's out on track at the moment, and just catching a glimpse of the 172 going through.
Yeah, so it's quite a lot of Porsches in this.
Yes.
And various generations of Porsches as well. GT3s, we've got Cup cars, Carrera Cup cars in this as well. The 997s in the mix as well. The G&H Racing, they brought a couple of cars here this weekend. You'll see possibly the Z4, the 997, but they have had some troubles as well. One of them, as I mentioned, the 99, I saw parked up at the back there. So we'll keep an eye as to who's in the cars and once they get started. Yeah, but expecting the front three to run away with things, and hopefully they can keep Davy Joubert a little bit close and make it exciting for the fans that have already come out this morning.
We just caught a glimpse of the 786 car. That's the Porsche 911 GT3 Cup car with Mo Mir, and it's a big welcome back to Mo Mir, having suffered injuries in an accident a couple of months ago, but he's back at it now, back behind the wheel of the car, and the livery is brilliant. It's the outline of every single circuit that he has raced at is covered in. There's the car in shot now going through. So that'll be one to look out. He's just got quicker and quicker as the weekend has progressed, and obviously just getting his confidence back again as we see the Lotus with the big wing going through as well.
Yeah, it's in colours of a famous old Formula 1 car that brings back memories for many fans. And we'll be seeing how he makes his way through the field. But there's that David Joubert, the number 18 Lotus Exige with the big rear wing on it, really designed for hill climb, but a fan favourite. The Janetta behind there, we've got Craig Jarvis and then JP Maura. Those are the three to keep an eye out for. The rest, I think, are in their own race as we get things underway. This is going to be the last of the races for the Sports and GT here at the 9 Hour of Kyalami from our 3 hour yesterday. Certainly enthralled the fans with the race, and today we're hoping to bring you some of the most impressive footage from drones to inboard throughout the day. A big commentary team. We're in for a cracking day as they line up now. It'll be a rolling start. Effectively, the number 18 becomes now the safety car, and we'll keep an eye on those lights. As they turn green, it's going to be the loud pedal that you will hear up next.
Through turn 16, that's Ingwe. Onto the main straight we go.
You can see red lights still, and now Joubert essentially becomes the safety car. He now waits for the green light to go, and there the lights are out, and we are racing, and he is quickly underway. And JP Maura looks like he's got an inside line on the Craig Jarvis Janetta. That's the racing line that you want to have. Craig maybe just going to close the door there. No, looks like it's going to be late on the brakes for JP Maura, and as we expected, he needs to keep close there, because otherwise...
Whoa, spinner straight away. Whoa, and there's contact. There's contact there.
Oh, and it's Mo.
It's Mo ran into the front of the number 18 car. David Joubert, unfortunately, spinning in the first corner.
Man.
There's damage.
Yeah, it's actually jammed into
the back wheel. He's locked his back wheel. And the front left rim has been completely destroyed as well. The back rim as well. So big contact there. Unfortunately, David Joubert just getting it wrong, just overcooking it. Cold tires into the first turn and causing a little bit of mayhem. So just waiting to see. Red flags have gone out already. So the race has been stopped. We have got a replay coming up. Let's look at the action.
Oh man, he'll be disappointed. So he was well ahead. He just needed to take it easy. Let's just see where he loses it. And he just loses it with the rear coming around and spinning. And we can just see Mo coming through.
Nowhere to go.
Oh, just didn't seem. You know, this is the challenge of driving these cars. Is you're so low down that you don't see something just over your wheel arch. It's just there. And that looks exactly what happened there. And look at how the rim is actually...
It's
smashed there, shattered.
But at the back rim as well, I just noted when I tried to get going, there's a piece missing out of the back rim by the look of things.
Yeah, possibly could be even the tire that's deflated and gone over there. I'm not sure if it could be the tire or the rim, but anyway, that car's not going anywhere. And that's huge disappointment because fans would have been wanting to see the number 18 hurtling down at over 300 kilometers per hour. That's going to be game over, unfortunately. And that is the tough thing of racing. You can just imagine the 9 hour guys knowing we can recall races in the past where things have been...
There's Mo wobbling, wobbling his way back.
Yeah, that's going to need a physio. That's going to need some serious... he'd be best just to park that to the side.
Yeah, you don't want to do further. Almost looks like it's jumped
back in there now, but he's got a long way to go. He's heading towards sunset. He's got a mountain to climb still, so it would be best if you could park that somewhere safely out of the way. But that's huge disappointment there.
Drama in...
That is disappointing, but this is what it's all about. This is going to be interesting now, because now it's going to be a JP Maura versus a Craig Jarvis, the Janetta versus the AMG Mercedes.
And we saw Maura with the advantage from that start. I mean, diving through on the inside. But I mean, just the reflexes from Maura to come around the corner and bang in the middle of his racing line. It was just a flick of the wheel to the right to avoid contact there. And Mo, unfortunately, nowhere to go because he had a car on his outside. So a terrible way to kick off in the Sport and GT class.
Yeah, you know, this is what makes it so feels unfair at times. Mo just looks a bit comical even the way that's going, but oh man, it just would be... I can understand why he wants to get back, because you're not going to fix it. There's no more racing, but it would be great just to perhaps just finish well. But in fact, I'm just actually looking now, and he is listed to race in the 1 hour dash.
Yes.
So he is actually really purposely trying to get back for that reason then. That makes sense there. Right, Mo Mia Okay, so we're just waiting to see what's happening here. So just getting some comments here, but it's going to take a little while there now because it's going to be difficult to get that car up. It's so low to the ground. He is currently 5th in the class at the moment. 8th, he's currently 8th in the championship for the 1 hour dash. Okay, so Prince just letting us know there. So he's definitely going to want to get back and sort that out. And it looks like here he comes down the mine shaft now towards the crocodiles. That is an uncomfortable ride there. It brings back some of my earlier days of having problems with cars, and you just want to get somewhere. He's doing a bit of damage to the wheel arch, but it looks like that could be his head is bobbing up and down there. It's like he's listening to some latest R&B artist performing or some sorts there. This could be a new music video I think we've got going over here. Hey. Right, wow, disappointment there, and there we go, David Joubert out the car in the Lotus Exige. That's a very low car. I don't know how they're going to get that onto the flatbed. Let's see how this pans out. So a delayed start here. It's going to definitely be reduced in terms of lap times as well.
I'm sure it will be. We have got a fairly tight schedule today, but still got goosebumps just the way that started and the way that Mauro managed to avoid any contact between them and then managing to get out of jail free there.
Yeah, and this was what we was talking about, was how challenging it's unfair motorsport at times, and then so rewarding in other times. The finishing a 9 hour and being on the podium, or just finishing it for the first time. Corey Hill often talks about that, saying, just want to finish the 9 hour, just want to finish the 9 hour, because of all the stories. And then, yeah, we've had in the past, it all end the 9 hour just in the first corner.
Yep.
And so, but David Joubert certainly had a fantastic weekend. Has been a fan favourite. He picked up the victory in yesterday's race 1 in the Sports and GT. Not quite gone his way. That's going to have to go back onto the flatbed and all the way back home for a bit of some surgery and fix up.
The next time we'll see that car will probably be down at Samola for the 2025 edition of the Samola Hill Climb. Always a favourite, and one of the great performers down there. Won his class more than once in that car.
And I see dates already been announced for the Samola Hill Climb.
Yep.
Ticket sales have already gone out.
Yep.
Inquired about some accommodation, said sorry, we're fully booked already. So yeah, it's certainly a highlight on the sporting calendar, motorsport calendar, and nice the folks really put out an amazing show for the fans. Of course, they've got that activation in the shopping centre, in the streets, but in the days before, historic classes and these big monsters as well. All right, so if you're just joining us, we are into our third support race. It is the Sports and GT, and it is come to an abrupt end on the first corner. It's going to reduce the amount of time for the rest of the cars who are sitting in the baking heat on the grid. Unfortunately, it is really warm outside. That cool breeze we were hoping for that's coming up the main straight is certainly dissipated, and very, very warm conditions out there at the moment. While we are just waiting for this, let's give you an update in terms of what's still to come here today at Kyalami. We had the iconic 3 hours yesterday. People saying, why are you doing a 3 hour and a 9 hour, 12 hours of racing over 2 days? If you're just joining us to catch up, it's because East London's round, which would have been round 5, was moved for the reason that the track just was a little bit too bumpy and not able to be resurfaced in time. Or will it be resurfaced? I don't know. Have you got any insight there, Brendan?
I'm in regular contact with the guys in East London. I used to live in East London. Actually, I used to travel the main straight of the East London Grand Prix circuit twice a day on my way to work, and so I'm always passionate about the East London circuit, and they've been let down, with municipality, and there's been a massive water development that's happened next to the circuit, which has turned out to be a little bit of a white elephant. But all the damage caused to the road from the heavy trucks and that has caused substantial damage to the surface. So it's desperately in need of a resurface. It's highly abrasive, and just those high-speed corners. There's new bumps that have formed there.
Oh dear!
And the guys on the limit. Stuart White, the last time that they were down there, they kept blowing the side walls of the tires. The tires on the left-hand side just couldn't handle the load at the sort of speeds that the guys are going through. through there. So for safety, it's mainly for safety reasons that they decided rather postpone round 5 and bring it to Kyalami, which came in its own challenges for the teams as well, because they've only got about a 26-hour turnaround period from round 5 going straight into round 6, which is obviously the 9 hours of Kyalami that starts later today.
Yeah, we're referring, of course, to East London Grand Prix circuit. So there was even some rumours that maybe they were going to upgrade it and extend it and make it longer and see if they could attract some international racing, but it seems like it's gone the other direction. We'll see that developing story. I'm not sure it's got a happy ending, unfortunately, but we are here. And then a decision was taken in conjunction with the drivers, in fact. So they spoke to the drivers. This is looking a little difficult to do now as we watch the 18 that has been taken out on the first corner. In fact, I'm watching some of the pit crew for the 18 now running down the pits. Are they going to run down the whole main straight?
It's hanging rather precariously off the back of the rollback. So,
wow, that's not ideal.
Yeah, that's the problem with these low cars. The aero on them, they're so low that to recover them is always a bit of a nightmare.
So we can see the confirmation there of the wheel rim that's actually shattered, as you mentioned.
And then I'm sure the back one has taken a knock as well. It was you can't see it now. It's hidden by that piece of fiber, carbon fiber that's blocking it. But I think there's a chunk out of the back rim as well. So rather extensive damage to that absolutely beautiful little Lotus Exige.
So just coming back to our story on the 3 hour that took place yesterday. We are getting ready, of course, for the 9 hour today. So much of the talk was around how this could disadvantage teams. We will only know that really till later, but I do feel that this could really be an advantage for some, because if you think about the Nova has picked up a little problem for 3 hours of racing. They now have found their problem, and they're hoping to restore that. And then, of course, we've got the likes of the carbon car, the old Stickshot 2.0. They've got a problem. Those things would have come up during the race. They would have been out. The Inter-Africa Lamborghini as well.
Well, you can see that back rim. Sorry to that back rim. It's actually folded in that hole.
Wow.
Yeah, I picked it up as the wheel as he engaged and tried to move it forward, and then it jumped out of view. But the problems that some of the teams have experienced, and a lot of the guys holding their cards very close to their chests and not giving too much away. Some well guarded secrets going on there, and that's where I referred to about the nervous tension in the teams. They've all got the game faces on and ready for the big show today.
Well, yesterday we saw the Nova becoming the first team to win 2 races in the season, because up to that point, BBR had won at Red Star, the Nova won at Swartkops. Bromingen Racing, which are not here this weekend, their Audi, unfortunately, not here this weekend. They won at a very soaked Elder Scribanti, and then the Inter-Africa Racing Lamborghini won at Kyalami last time out. Yesterday's race won by the Nova for the first time this season, a second winner. If you're just joining us, you're seeing sad images of a beautiful Lotus being taken away after it spun on the first corner at Crowthorne, and unfortunately it was Mo Mia in the Porsche 991 GT3 Cup car that seemed to have wheel-on-wheel contact and sort of like a can opener ripped both wheel rims, and unfortunately that car with its super aerodynamics were unable to move forward. Right, I can just look out of my window.
Yep,
they're chasing everybody off the grid because we're going to try and just get a couple of laps in, and we've been looking forward to this, so it's going to be still behind the safety car for 1 lap.
The race has been reduced to 6 laps, so it will be 6 laps of action. So hopefully we can see JP Mauro getting into the front and making that Mercedes wider than it actually is.
Well, he did take the lead against Craig Jarvis, who's now his competitor, his rival here, and I think the rest are in their own race, although we did see that other Lotus starting to make its way through the field already. So right, we're going to get things underway back here at Kyalami, and if you're just joining us, this is the restart of the Sports and GT race after an earlier incident on the first corner. Our race winner from yesterday taken out. We spun, was knocked then by one of the back runners, and both those cars are out. The Momia Porsche now hoping to get, he obviously got back to the pits, and they'll be looking to repair that ahead of the 1 hour dash.
Just talking back to the 9 hour race, we had a question coming through here on YouTube, and Sibu Klubi asking the question, can anyone beat Just for Sleep? I see BBR exchanges with Into Africa for second. He says, I can see BBR exchanges with Into Africa for second place. So that championship there's double points on offer for the 9 hour, and there are so many permutations which we will obviously start talking about later on. But the Just for Sleep team, they were looking a little bit nervous. But the amazing thing, that car, they strip it down to virtually bare bones. I went and took some photographs of it yesterday, and just the amount of work that goes in behind the scenes is brilliant to see, and that's what encourage spectators to come and have a look at these machines and watch these teams in motion.
Well, Sibo, I can tell you that they are certainly not feeling confident because they are waiting for oil to arrive to the track. So we'll get into that story because they're going to have practice up next. But on the grid, just out of shot, the number 84 is being pushed to the side. So that looks like another car we've lost here in this Sports and GT. So we're going to be commenting on a very small field. It looks like it's mostly going to be around the front of the field. Craig Jarvis and, of course, the JP Mauro Mercedes as well, that beautiful AMG Mercedes. So a smaller field, a shortened race now, just 6 laps, and hoping to get things underway. Just to remind you, following this, it's free practice or warm-up rather, for the 9 hour. And then we'll have a change in commentary team. We've got the second and final race of the day for the support classes. It's the single-seater festival. 51 single-seaters join us at the start of the weekend. Quite a sight to see. And then we start our big activation. VIPs will be on the track. There's a couple of hot laps. And we've got a start to the 9 hour that's going to be unforgettable. You're not going to want to miss it. We go live on Supersport from midday today.
Some more guys having jumped on to the YouTube channel and just asking us what's happened. Well, if you just tuned in late, there was an incident on the first corner. Davi Hubert, unfortunately, just losing the back end of the car, spinning around. Mo Mia, nowhere to go, made contact. Both cars have been retired from the race, so the race has been brought down to 6 laps. So we are set to go. And the 84 car I saw getting pushed off there. That's Pile.
84 is out. The 84 was pushed. Unfortunately, didn't get back starting. I mean, they sat in the sun for such a long time.
Unfortunately, did Devon Pile, another retiree. So
we've only got 6 cars now at the start of this shortened race, but we are looking forward to the battle in the front. So I think 2 races to look out for here. Craig Jarvis in the Ginetta, JP Mauro, the Brazilian, who's visiting us for this weekend in that AMG Mercedes. Then it's the rest of the field. 3 Porsches versus another Lotus to look out for. Lots to look out for in this race. Unfortunately, Davi Joubert spinning on the first corner. He probably could have got going again, but unfortunately the Mo Mia didn't see him, Porsche, and unfortunately took him out, and that's game over. Right, our attention turns now to the start of this one. As you can see, the front 2 will be keen to get going. Then it's the battle of the rest, really. It's red lights, and out they go, and here we go now. And once again, it's JP Mauro on the inside line. Look at him coming from the right.
He'll have the advantage going into this corner. If he can just keep it side by side, he'll have the initial advantage, and into the lead he goes once. That's what we were hoping to see, and just that string of Porsches and the Lotus already having made up a couple of places.
Okay, so as expected, front 2 and then the rest of them, the other 4, will be having a bit of fun out there. So keep an eye out for JP Mauro. Now, on paper, I mean, we should be seeing that Ginetta perhaps in its prime, easily beating the Mercedes. But of course, it's a little bit of an older generation car now, and of course we've got a very young and exciting generation
driver
behind a beautiful Mercedes that sounds like a fighter plane from the World War era, and it's a fan favorite in terms of its sound, and it's got a bit of a gap already. Let's see how the Ginetta reacts. Craig Jarvis is not going to let the young Brazilian get away.
Yeah, the advantage with the Mercedes, and we've commented more than once during the weekend, is that, I mean, the way he rides the curbs and uses more, all of the track and some more. not scared to put the wheels on the grass. We've seen him do 2 wheels on the grass as he heads down there. And the Ginetta, with all of its aero, and because it's so low, can't ride the curbs like that. So he stays on a completely different racing line. So I think this is going to be a bit of almost a cat and mouse battle that is starting to unfold.
Right, just some updates then we're getting from the pits there. So the Momia Porsche left front control arm broken, which is what we saw expected. And they're getting parts quickly from the shop to fix it ahead of the 9 hour. He's in the first hour of the 9 hour. Yeah. Right, down the main straight, we'll see if we can follow for a lap here of Kyalami, such an iconic circuit. This Mercedes now hard on the brakes. You'll see lots of racing lines taken through the Crowthorne corner. And then there's a flick to the left, a flick to the right through Yuxke. And this is a fan favorite spot called Barbecue because of all the braafvleis that's going to be hoed on the grass banks on the right-hand side. Now we go back towards with the wind behind at their back into Sunset. This is a full pace. Keep your foot on the floor all the way through the corner, and now you head towards a Clubhouse. Next corner would be Clubhouse, is where the racing fans get to watch. There we go, just through Clubhouse. There's a left turn, then there's a dive down through the S's, as we see now the number 9 Nike. So Nike's moved into that Lotus. Yeah, we go back now to Craig Jarvis. Now this is the second of the S's turns. Now it's up the hill. We'll see this really playing a big role. This is the sun setting we saw yesterday afternoon. Find your braking point with that tree ahead of you. Now 2 corners up at Luke. Oh, a bit of a slide from JP Murray. Having a bit of fun there.
Back getting a bit twitchy.
Hey, just hoying it out there. Hey, are you all watching?
I said he's going to make it wide.
Yeah, Craig Jarvis looks like he closes up a little bit. A hard left there. Now you've got to find your braking point for a very wide first of 2 crocodiles. There it is, the first of the 2 crocodile turns. It's a little lick to the left. Yeah, there we go. Just try and stay on the curb. And then Cheetah that's caught out a few cars. Oh, two wheels in the air. Where's the cameraman? Where's the cameraman?
This guy is really, really exciting to watch.
Yeah, final corner then through Ingwe. And that's a lap of Kyalami as you head down the main straight. And it's not the gap that he would have wanted. A few mistakes out there. Craig Jarvis, not going to let him get away. We've got... what's that? The end of lap 2, yeah, so
4 laps to go.
4 laps to go.
Lots of comments on YouTube with the guys discussing, the Davi Hubert and the Lotari, that he's got the Lotus with the. They say Lotus XC shouldn't be able to go that fast, and 99% sure the Merc has abs and TC and all the fancy stuff in it, and lots of comments coming from Zeising Racing, so great to have them on board, enjoying all of the action. So absolutely crazy that a Lotus Exige can be that fast.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that rear wing certainly plays a big role as well. So we've got now 2 races really that we're keeping an eye out for. JP Murray and Craig Jarvis with 4 laps to go. Craig sort of seems to have found his rhythm a little bit, and now it seems like he's keeping pace there with JP and not going to let it get away. And it's the Lotus then behind that's leading the 3 Porsches, with Sun Woodley, the best of the Porsches, currently in 4th. Oh, Craig Jarvis really closing up. JP Morris, the second time he struggled in there on that little corner. Right, let's have a little replay of that flying off the curb there. Look at this. Where's the cameraman coming through? Look at this Cheetah up ahead. And now he's going to flicker right. Look at this. Boom! Hey! Oh, that's a fast corner as well, so stunning shot there from our camera crew. Let's see if he does it again this time, or has he learned his lesson?
A little bit wide around this time.
He was a bit compromised last time, and you can see he gets the racing line right, and he opens a bit of a gap there to Craig Jarvis. Right, let's see if Jarvis can close it up then as we head down the main straight through the kink and into Crowthorne. Oh, what a sound. JP Murray coming past our commentary box.
Just got now 3 laps to go, and JP Murray, we knew it was going to be an exciting race, and this guy in the 9 hour as well, it's going to be interesting to see.
Different racing lines, as you can see there. You see the concertina effect. Craig Jarvis closes up in the Jeanette a little bit, and then JP Murray takes a stronger line on the second half of Yuxke, and then he pulls out a little bit. Look at the downforce of the Jeanette now is going to play a big role through this corner, and then he'll close up right up against it as we get to the clubhouse corner. A little bit further back this time. A big left now. This is the S's. This is a nice view of the S's. You can see there's a drop down to the left. It just touches the sand. We saw a few cars making mistakes here in the Lotus race earlier on. But these boys, fully experienced now, comfortable in their rhythm as they go up the hill to Sunset, looking for their breaking point. There's that tree. It's going to be vital, that tree, at night time come the 9 hour. This is the Nike Lotus in 3rd place, comfortably ahead of the 3 Porsches behind.
Cash and Nike doing a good job up into 3rd place, starting at the back of the grid in the other Lotus, and he's worked his way up into 3rd place. Sun Woodley sitting in 4th at the moment.
Now, just chatting to Sun Woodley yesterday, he had, together with JP Maurer, they raced in the 3 hours of Kyalami. And when they asked him about his stint, he said he didn't want to come in. He didn't want to get out the car. He was just having so much fun in this Mercedes GT3. And perhaps, I know it's a tough one for the teams, particularly the crews having the 2-week races, but for the drivers, the versatility. We saw Charles Orangi's doing the 1 hour yesterday. Today he's on pole for the 9 hour. And that's beauty of this kind of format. As Craig Jarvis seems to be losing a bit of touch here with 2 laps to go.
Yeah, I chatted to Sun Woodley yesterday, and I'll tell you what, it's a really rejuvenated Sun Woodley. He's slimmed down. He just said, if you want to race these cars at this pace, you've got to shed some weight. So looking good and brilliant to hear that he doesn't want to get out the car, and he's certainly sharing it with an exciting driver.
And he said he'll be back. He'll be back next year. He's certainly looking forward to more racing, and a lot of the drivers actually saying they're looking forward to perhaps a fuller season being involved next year in the South African Endurance Series. This is, of course, the final round coming up a little bit later on today. This is the last of the support races, the Sports and GT, as we can hear some Lamborghinis roaring below us, getting ready for their practice with the conclusion of this Sports and GT. If you're just joining us, we had our pole sitter, Davi Joubert, unfortunately spin it on the first corner at Crowthorne and then get taken out by Mo Mia, and disappointing for them. Mo Mia rushing now to get his car ready for the 1 hour.
Another question coming through from Zazing Racing. Is Sun in a Porsche again? Yes, he is indeed. And who's driving his Merc? The man driving his Merc, young Brazilian driver JP Mauro. His 3rd visit to South Africa, first time out at Kyalami, and he is certainly setting a light around the circuit.
Yeah, so you can, once again, really knocking that curve there at Cheetah, and again, just losing a bit of rhythm and momentum. It'll give Craig Jarvis a chance to close gap. He also goes a bit wide now as we start the final lap here in the Sports and GT. And yeah, we're looking forward to it. It can be confusing because, of course, this Mercedes that you see there has got Sun Woodley's name written all over it, so you can be forgiven for thinking that it could be. So he takes a wide line for the last time on this final lap. Now it hits it left and right. You can see the 2 drivers taking very different race lines through there. They're going to catch a back marker in 6 laps. That's an impressive pace there from JP Maurer, who's lapping in the 145s.
He's running wide again, and I mean his times, he's running 145s. I mean, we saw him doing 142s yesterday in that car. So he has certainly got the pace and the raw talent as well.
The Porsche hasn't seen him, and this is going to give Jarvis a chance. He hasn't seen him.
Onto the
he's gone
grass.
way off the grass.
Totally onto the grass.
And now we go. Now Craig Jarvis smells blood.
Oh, geez, there's a back marker. Hold it, back it back on. Get back on. Well,
the drifting, and now we have a race. Now, with a few corners to go, JP Mauro, has he got something left in the tank after sliding that AMG Mercedes? Man, that drift through the gravel was spectacular.
That's something different.
I hope Sun Woodley wasn't watching there. Right,
I thought that was going to end in tears, but once again a back marker. Just getting. It's amazing how often. Yeah, it's amazing.
And here comes another back marker at a critical point in this little race. He gets
out the way.
That is in fact Sun Woodley. He's saying, Sun, you stopped there. You got in the way of the wrong car there. Right, here we go, and it's Craig Jarvis that's going to come around and take the victory. Let's just check confirmation. The checkered flag is out, and it's the sponsor. Well, that was entertaining for 6 laps, Brendan Kelly.
And a spinner
from the 172.
Jeepers, what's happening out here?
All happening here in the smallest field of the weekend after a number of incidents. Wow.
Well, we wanted action. We thought we were going to get action, and they certainly didn't disappoint. A flash of the lights there from Craig Jarvis as he goes around. He knows he's got this one in the bag, but gifted to him in the bag by the back marker. But
yeah, all right. So it's incredible handling, I think, from
Yeah.
JP Mauro, has to be said. Right, here's another little look of
Oh, here we go.
that image. So yeah, we can see the back marker not noticing, Giancarlo not knowing that he's there. And so he goes wide,
and just stays there.
stays wide, then he realizes I'm losing pace and Jarvis is right behind me. And he keeps it flat.
Dirty tires. And
Oh my goodness, and there we go, look at the drifting. Just for the photograph, waving at the fans. That could have ended really nasty, of course. Craig Jarvis coming onto the racing line, and JP Mauro able to just respectfully somehow hold it. Wow.
Well,
Racing.
that was brilliant, and I mean there's some really decent camera points there as well for the static photographers. So hopefully there will be some epic pictures of that little incident. But certainly keeping us entertained. That was absolutely brilliant.
You know, and just for those who aren't perhaps racing drivers, a lot of people, if they get into an instance like they're driving and there's wet or they hit the gravel, the tendency is to hit the brakes.
Yep.
You know, it's like, and then that of course locks up, or even sometimes to accelerate, and that can just obviously cause you to spin. There you can just see the car control, just feeling it with his hands, just feeling the weight of the car through the corner, and then accelerating at the right time.
But you could just feel he's obviously at one with the car, and brilliant reflexes. I mean, we saw from the start of the race when with the spin from Davy Hubert and the recovery, managing to avoid contact there from JP Mauro, and then just that car obviously fitting him like a glove. I went I chatted to him. You know, I didn't know the name. Let's have a look at the results. So Craig Jarvis taking the win from JP Mauro in second. Cashin Nike, brilliant performance from the back of the grid, coming up to finish in third. Right behind him, the first of the Porsches coming through. That's Sun Woodley, the Bigfoot Racing Porsche. And then Martin Prince in fifth. Ricky Giancarlo in sixth. And then it was Devon Pillay in the...
We saw him there spinning and at the end in the orange...
In the orange Porsche, the 84. So drama-filled race, unfortunately.
And just to mention, Sun Woodley will be keen to be very happy that JP Mauro hasn't done any damage to that car, because of course he is down to do the 1 hour dash. So just looking in terms of the 9 hour to come, we're going to have a long list of 24 cars that will be taking part in all 9 hours, including a stunning field of these backdraft roadsters, which we're going to see going out shortly for their practice and warm-up. But there is 12 cars that have entered for the 1 hour dash, the first hour of the 9 hour. Now, why would you only do 1 hour of 9 hours? Why not just do all 9?
Do all 9, yeah.
Well,
different
it's
horses for courses,
yeah.
And just looking at the comments that have come through after that incident, and just the one that was hairy. Saki goes bossies. I know that was hairy. And then another, and we'll just leave it at that. And what a catch, what a race. And Saki goes bossies once again, says how a race can change just like that. Yeah. And then Sibo Tlubi once again, JP is a classy driver.
Classy driver. So some images here around the track. This, of course, the beautiful VIP viewing deck down just above Ingwe, the final corner, one of the fan favorites. They're going to be getting their chairs and tables ready with all of their drinks and food. And we can see now an image from the Crowthorne going back towards the skid pad at the bottom part of your screen. That's where we've got the go-karts. And then up at the top is where the market, the food vendors are. And just out of shot to the right will be the big stage where we've got the artists performing. Yeah, there's the famous barbecue and clubhouse corners. Fans getting their gazebos ready.
They've been
I wonder if we
since
can order
early
some
this
food
morning.
there. Just looking pretty good out there. You can see some fires getting started as well. And I mean, it is only not even 10 o'clock yet. And what a day of racing. We're going to be here all the way till 10 p.m. this evening with racing of the highest quality. Who's going to be crowned the 2024 champion of the 9 hours of Kyalami? We cannot wait.
It's amazing how quickly a season can just disappear.
Yeah.
we mentioned yesterday in commentary, I was still, it feels like just a couple of weeks ago that I was buying a 2024 year planner and filling in all the race dates.
You like your year planners, eh?
Yeah, no, I've got to know, because with the different commentary that I do, involved in boat racing, Formula One powerboat racing, as well as inflatable powerboat racing, as well as dirt oval racing and motocross as well. So I've got a busy calendar, and
absolutely.
Don't want events to clash. Rally as well. The Algoa Rally, the rebirth of the Algoa Rally is happening in Hog's Back this weekend. So there we go. You can have a look at.
That looks loads of fun.
Yeah, it's already
just above the skid pad. This, in fact, and this is where they do some of the advanced driving courses and stuff. It's a beautiful racetrack to go and have a little go. Just some comments from Donovan saying he's watching from the Swartland, watching from his farm out in the Swartland. Great to have you with us, eh? Maybe we could ask some of our YouTube fans, who do you think is going to be crowned champion? China says they're going for JP. Unfortunately, JP's not going to be doing the 9 hours, but I'd love to hear who you think is going to come out on top in the 9 hour.
And then Saes Racing asking, I heard that Slingshot had a problem. Do you know if it's been resolved? They getting thumbs up all around. Quietly confident that the problem has been sorted out. They have been plagued with a couple of niggles through the weekend, but all good to go. So they should be good to go.
Yeah, look, when we left last night, the covers were off. They were working frantically. This morning when we came through to check on them, car was closed and covered, and drivers were no doubt having a good rest. Just to remind you, there were 3 drivers listed in that team for the Slingshot, which we're calling the Carbon Car now.
Yep.
Franco Di Matteo was assisting yesterday alongside Steve Clark and Mike McLaughlin. Mike McLaughlin had some business to sort out in Durban. So despite him being here on Thursday, he flew to Durban on Friday, and then he flew back. We saw him last night getting ready, and Steve and Mike are going to be racing together, as they have done all season. They've had heartache. They've had huge disappointment. Cars almost winning 1 or 2 races. They've been a surprise package. This is endurance racing. It's not necessarily who's the fastest car is going to win. It's sometimes all about who's going to come out, who's got to be at the end,
Yeah, it's not with the endurance racing, and it's not just about the front runners, the big bangers in front. I mean, we've got a whole host of VW Super Polos, GTI Golfs as well in the mix, and then obviously all of the Class E backdraft roadsters as well, and that is entertainment all on its own. I mean, the action that those guys produce. So there's races within a race for everybody to enjoy, and for 9 hours. It's a hell of a long time.
Yeah, so question about the Rossies. Are they going to be there? Yeah, they're in Class C, and that's one to watch. They're in an Alfa Romeo Giulia that you can see on screen there. Yeah. And they're up against 3 VW Polos. Or in fact, a Golf GTI, an Endurance Polo, and one of the VW Polos as well. So it's the Alfa vs 3 Polo race to look out for in the 9 hour, getting underway later today.
We're chatting to them just earlier on this morning just to ask if their issues were sorted, and it turned out that the electronics shut down on the vehicle because when they did a reboot on it, the steering wheel was slightly offset, and the car picked it up and shut down, just wouldn't go. So they had to engage with guys overseas, and they said, well, just make sure that the steering is aligned properly, and then do the reset, and that has worked. So they've got that car out of limp mode and should be back for the action. Heading out on track now. Who do we have?
Yeah, well, it's the warm-up session now, so we'll see all the cars, including a little Mini that you'll see coming up, Batamba at the wheel. Now this is a really great story because Brendan and I were smiling. This brings back some production day memories of seeing this. By the way, there goes your pole sitter. They were all over social media last night getting excited because the Stradale Motorsport Audi on pole. And then we've got, this is now some of our backdraft roadsters. So if you're tuning in, you're wondering how many categories have we've got? We've got A, B, C, and E. So no D-class cars competing in the 9 hour. A, B, C, and E. E is your roadsters, which you see there on screen. And then we have 12 cars that are a mix that are only doing the 1 hour race. So of the 9 hours, they're just going to be competing in the 1 hour. So we're going to try and keep you updated. It's going to be a bit confusing as we go through, but just remember, 5 races in all happening during the 9 hour.
Yeah, for sure. The first hour of the race will be confusing, but already into the, I mean, we saw yesterday sort of 6 laps into the race, the faster cars catching up with the Class E backdraft roadsters. So and then we've got cars right around the circuit, and the faster guys having to weave their way through the back markers. But obviously these guys are absolute pros. Then once it gets dark, it does become a bit more challenging. But watching the night practice before it was abruptly ended after Marius Jackson's car spilt its fluids out on the track, the lights on some of these cars are absolutely phenomenal.
We saw a bit of debris there on the track there. Wind actually just turned a little bit now, coming sort of perpendicular from your left in shot right now. So keep an eye on that. So here's the Nova, and this is free practice now. Jonathan Thomas impressed mightily yesterday. He's at the wheel of the car according to our timing, and he had not had a chance in that car. They had niggle, so they have re-oiled that entire car. What they've picked up there, chatting to the mechanics this morning, is that there was an oil pressure sensor that kept giving indication that there was something wrong, and then they would come in and check and it was fine and reset it and go back out. And they managed to somehow, Jonathan Thomas managed to put in a sensational qualifying time in the 141s.
Yep.
We know Joel Visser had lots of problems as well. We expected him to be there. He didn't quite get down to the 141s. So they've had to order a special oil now. I don't know if it's a thicker oil or a more expensive, let's call it expensive oil. And they've gone to fetch it this morning. They've put it into this car. And now they're having a warm-up to see that it's all going to run smoothly. So we're going to keep an eye on that. Jonathan Thomas now at the wheel of the Nova.
We did see Charles Visser doing a 140 in that car in the early stages. That was on
Thursday afternoon.
Thursday,
yeah, cool conditions.
Which in cool conditions, and if that was in a race, it would be a new lap record. Michael Steven, the lap record holder in the an Audi R8 LMS, and I think it was 141.842 thereabouts. So Charles Visser, an unofficial, having gone quicker. It's not unofficially having gone quicker than the lap record, but in 9 hours of racing, I don't think we're going to see that.
Right, here we go. Into Africa Racing Lamborghini. You might be saying, is that a new car? The answer is no. They've just done a special
surprise
lick of paint on it for this weekend's race. So it's a fresh wrap on that car as we see the Cara Hill Calyx go in front. And just an opportunity for them just to perhaps to put some wrongs right. After last year's disappointment, who can forget them leading the race and then in the dying moments having a problem and then missing that last little cutoff to get out in time to try and finish on the podium. Yeah,
gifting the win in the end to Stradale Motorsport.
Yeah, and the Nova overtaking the Lamborghini there. We hope that's just not a sign of things to come, but just to say that they had trouble yesterday once again into Africa Racing with the Lamborghini, and surrendered the lead and eventually finishing third yesterday in the 3 hour.
Once again, checking the comments that have come through, and Sibo Klubi again. I'd love to see Visser versus Stewart. He says, I know, but strategies may not allow it. And then we were talking about the Alpha. Where did
the Rossies, the Rossies, wishing them all the best.
Yeah, all the best. And they say, that car, when it's time for it to perform, it's a typical Alpha. It runs into problems. So hopefully,
stop it, Alpha fans.
I hope it all goes well. So then we go. Good morning to the commentators. Looking forward to an exciting day of racing. Hoping the Into Africa team takes this one after last year's heartbreak. Just referring to what we were chatting to a moment ago. And then China Mnisi saying the Rossi family, good luck. Yeah, we're hoping that Alpha holds together. It is a beautiful looking car, and just the color scheme that they've got on it, really, really neat.
We're expecting the Nova to be running quite a bit now. They've just put new oil into that car, so expecting them to be running for all 24 minutes left of the session. It's a 30-minute session. I can confirm that Stuart White is behind the wheel of the Inter Africa Lamborghini, so we'll keep an eye on that one as well. The Patamba Mini came out just for a very short stint and has gone back in. So just not many cars on track taking the most of this opportunity just to warm up, and they won't get another one. This will be the last opportunity for the cars just to figure out any last little stories that they may have, and then the next time they'll be there is, of course, for the start of 9 hours.
Fastest car out on track so far is the number 15, and that is Jonathan Thomas, a 1:41.5. So going out and banging those low laps straight away. We've got one of the backdraft roadsters having stopped on the.
This is the 23.
That looks like the 23 car, yeah.
Yeah, so they've certainly got title aspirations coming into this weekend.
Dean Wilson,
yeah,
out on track.
They'll be disappointed with how things went yesterday. So they've lost a bit of gap now, a bit of points gap now to the 262, and we'll be looking to improve that. So that's looking forward to seeing them next up. There's the pole sitter. That we're talking about Stewart versus maybe Charles. I think this is the one to look out for. The current champions, the number one on the car. And I just want to remind our race fans about the story of this car from last year. This team arrived here last year with the Mercedes AMG.
Yep.
That car, unfortunately, was involved in an incident on this corner, the S's, with a third driver. That driver, unfortunately, got it into the wall, and a very quick decision was made to fetch this old lady, this famous Audi that has done so well for the team over the years. They went and fetched the car, brought it here, and somehow scraped through a result to claim the championship. So they'd come here with huge confidence. They did not take part in the 3 hour yesterday. They decided rather, as we see the Mini back on track.
Yep.
They did not take part in the 3 hour yesterday. They decided they were going to focus all their attention on the 9 hour today. They instead took part in other cars in the 1 hour dash, and all their eggs are in one basket to win the 9 hours of Kyalami. Winning the championship contention, that's a long shot. Winning the 9 hour, that's top priority for the Stradale Audi. So keep an eye out for that GT3 Evo with the Bobcat colors, expecting its claws to come out this weekend.
Kishore Patamba, or Dr. Kishore Patamba, out in the little Mini. He'll be sharing it with his son.
No,
he's not.
No, he's going to be
in the.
Yeah, so Kishore's going to be in the 1 hour dash in the Mini.
Oh, he's just doing the 1 hour dash, correct? Yes.
Yeah, so Mikhail, of course, is in the Inter-Africa Racing Lamborghini team.
The third driver.
Yeah, he's been very fast as well. So there's another name in the hat to throw. Patamba alongside Stuart White, alongside Charles Visser, alongside the Stradale. I think we haven't seen the Marius Jackson Audi out yet. That's had the engine change this morning.
Engine change that went
They're desperately going to want just a few minutes of running time with 20 minutes left in this session. And Andrew Rackstraw, what a talent he is.
You know, all of these names that you have just mentioned, all top kart racers, all come right through the ranks of karting. Throw Yuri Swart into the mix there as well. Arnie Neveling in the mix as well. It is all brilliant kart racers that have now stepped up to endurance racing.
Yeah, let's also talk about who we're not seeing. We're not seeing the BBR Porsche. We've not seen that come out yet either. Just to remind you, Keegan Masters, the fourth driver in that team, has not had a lot of time behind the wheel as well. And then just a comment for everybody, just quickly, we've been told that the Lategans, just to help us, because there's two H Lategans, which one's which? So they've told us that HA Lategan is Hein Lategan, the Rally Raid champion. The dad is going to be H Lategan. So we'll pick that up on our timings. They've let me know about that. So HA Lategan that we see on the timings is going to be Henk Lategan. Well, with Dad, Hein Lategan is going to just simply be H Lategan. So we're going to need to know that, because it's going to be, as we get into 9 hours of racing, it's going to be difficult to see. As the pole sitter, the defending SAES champions, the Stradale Motorsport Audi. And, I love this Porsche, man. Look at the 991. Absolutely beautiful. And they're going to be competing in the 1 hour dash, the Roy Obery 911. This is a GT3 Cup car. And an absolute stunner.
That has to be one of the prettiest race cars in the country, and just when Charles Harangi's had it down in East London, it had just arrived in the country, and he gave us a guided tour of it, and all the extra bells and whistles that it had. It was specifically built for racing in the series at the Nürburgring, so a fantastic car to have in the country.
Yeah, this is the 95 Lamborghini. Now, this is going to be competing against the GT4 from the G&H Racing. So, Samlin Racing versus G&H Racing in Class B. That's a race to look out for. They're competing in the 9 hour. The 95 versus the 511. Those are the two cars, the two racing paddocks of Samlin Racing and G&H. That's their main entrance here into this weekend. So, they're going to be an exciting Class B. I mentioned Class C. It's the Alphas versus the 3 VWs. There's the little race to look out for. And then 6 very fast cars in Class A to keep an eye out for. So those are 3 classes. We cannot wait to see how that unfolds. And we'll get a better understanding of that once we get past the first 1 hour dash, because that 1 hour dash is going to have a bit of a mix of cars in here as well. Yeah.
Just as the footage around the circuit, you can just see the spectator points starting to fill up more and more. You can see all of the gazebos having been set up. Those gazebos were here from just after 6 this morning. So it is starting to get busy out there. We are getting ready for another commentary change.
Yeah, Ernst Payne's going to step in here for me quickly.
Ernest,
we've got 17 minutes to go. And yeah, I'll look forward to joining you a little bit later from our...
Welcome back, Ernest. Have you recovered your breath from the Lotus Challenge race earlier on? The excitement.
Yes, indeed I have.
Well, at least we had the excitement of that JP Mauro. That was brilliant. And I'm going to go down there and catch up with them and just see. So I'm going to step out. Steve going to step back in. And,
he's definitely got some new fans in South Africa.
Oh, absolutely.
Sure.
I'm just looking at all the comments that have come through on YouTube about him and really enjoying the excitement of having JP Mauro behind the seat of that 112 AMG Mercedes.
Wow. Incredible stuff as we see Jonathan Thomas come into view now, and Jonathan with a best time of 141.4, but that team has not been without their melodies as they've been trying to sort out small issues here and there, and Jonathan just having his seat fitting done. I was saying yesterday, even though he was doing decent times last night, he just wasn't able to get comfortable in that car. And now that they've sorted out the seat, they've sorted out the... oh, Jonathan with a mistake there. A little bit of a twitch there, managed to collect it up. Let's see if we can see a replay on that one. But that was a big wiggle there, but great. Kudos to Jono for getting that car collected up again. Yeah, clearly on the limit.
Oh, going and pushing it. Try and move forward and also look for those little moments to ensure that he can pick up the pace. One thing they're going to be working on now, not to go and slide around, trying to get the car all sorted out. They've got new oil in it. They're running the engine in after a little bit of work done to it. But also, I think Jonathan's trying to find where exactly the limits are on the vehicle. Remember, he didn't have too much time last night during there wasn't much of a night practice, unfortunately, but he has to learn where the car is going to be able to push a little bit harder, where he needs to be around the track, and also what is the tires going to be doing, especially as it's now warming up. The track is going to reach a peak where it's going to be perfect, a little bit too hot, then it starts becoming slick. It starts becoming a little bit gummy out there where it will stick, and then start to slide out underneath you.
Yeah, Jono also mentioned that he hasn't had much time in the car. Straight into qualifying was the case yesterday, and now finally getting some time behind the wheel of this car to get more climatized to what is a new setup, different compounds on the tires, lots and lots of changes on the vehicle, and as mentioned, the interior ergonomics as well. And we also have a onboard camera on this car, which to me is just so exciting to see what the driver's side view looks like while going flat out around Kyalami Grand Prix circuit.
It's going to be amazing. We're going to see more and more of it as quite a few vehicles are going to be carrying the new onboard cameras so we can show to everyone outside and pointing towards the drivers. The curious one is actually seeing sunset of how much that actually gets into the eyes of the drivers. You and I can describe from our personal experience, but when you actually get to see that sun bleeding through and actually catching the helmets, catching the visors, or even just catching the eyes of the drivers, it is quite intense. And it gives you a better perspective of what they're going to be going through, because we're going through afternoon to dusk to night. And I mean, this is just a transition that each of the teams are going to be battling with, and it's not an easy one to go through it. To travel with that, your eyes are going to have to change, the perception of the brake markers tend to vary. It's just so much to it, and now add an extra 300 kilometers an hour on top of it, your brain's going to be working at overdrive at this point.
Exactly, and when it comes to that sunset, it has been confirmed that at the moment the sunset is particularly bad coming through that section. Just the time that it hits, the way that it hits, the time that it lingers, the drivers have a few laps to deal with where it is not ideal at all. As we now see Johns on his way through in the number 80 car. That is the Marius Jackson Audi R8, driven by Johns and Jackson, and of course Rackstraw. And we've just also confirmed that they had massive problems with this car yesterday. The car was, in fact, the engine was rebuilt or replaced overnight after destroying itself, and we did see a fuel issue on this car. It wasn't just the fuel issue, it was in fact the engine that was also problematic. So let's see how he does on his first fast lap.
Well, it's not really the engine that gave the trouble, but it's what's connected to the engine. They landed up replacing the engine out of pure, let's rather be safe, because the gearbox, no joke, exploded. It dumped all its oil out on turn 2. So not wanting to take the risk of any filings that they may have passed through, rather replace the entirety of it, put it back together, and then at least you know you got a new gearbox, you got a new engine, you don't have to worry about any bits and pieces that may linger. It's one of those, if you're unsure, if that little gremlin sits on your shoulder and goes, maybe, rather just get it sorted out.
Yep.
Don't play around. It's the final round. You need to maximize points here, and you want to see the checkered flag at the end of 9 hours. So rather just make it sure. But taking a look at the Samlin Racing team, they're going to be having a huge amount of fun. They're a leading Class B at the moment, and just by finishing the race, they will take the championship. But that is going to also provide a bit of a close race as well, because you might be aiming for a championship, but if you think about the race how it is, you're not worrying about the championship, you're worrying about the car next to you.
Yeah, exactly. In this situation here, it's all about who's around you, who's in front, who's beside you, and who's fast. So these drivers here will be fighting to find out which one of them is the quickest, as Hammond makes his way around in the 95 car. And I've been chatting to a lot more of the guys. We got Pretorius out there as well. I was chatting to him earlier on, and he was saying that the curbs at Kyalami are absolutely brutal on the exit over 9 hours. As you can see, the Lamborghini touching those curves. So some of the drivers, to conserve their cars, to conserve side shaft, to conserve componentry, they have decided not to run wide on the curve. But when you look at someone like Mauro with maximum attack, he's in a GT3 car that has got a situation where the parts are just like on a plane. Oh, bit of a sideways moment there. Just like on a plane, the parts are specifically designed to last a certain amount of hours. These guys can go ham and tongs and absolutely take it to the limit. But you've got a car that's a custom built car. You don't have that engineering prowess that someone like a factory team Lamborghini would have, for example.
Well, this is where it also comes into it. It's depending on when you're going to do it. So think about the start of the race. You need to go as fast as you can, as quick as possible, to try and open up a gap. Utilizing all the road up to the rumble strips and pull yourself back in, that's when you want to use it. As soon as it starts to quieten down, then you can back off. But remember, you're going to lose 3/10 of a second by trying to stay away from the curbing as much. So it's going to just impact you further and further and further. So you don't want to really have that happening. But taking a look at the weather, it is going to be a fantastic weather day, I'm going to say. And I'm not going to say anything about the future because it is Kyalami, and anyone knows Kyalami knows the score there. But it is currently a blistering temperature, 23 degrees. It's going to go up to about 32 degrees here today. And with the 11-kilometer wind going straight into turn 1, turn 2, it's a bit of a headwind for most, as we do see one of our backdraft roadsters making their way around. Interesting enough, actually going and sporting the Senna helmet. There you go. Our number 18 going and having a bit of fun out there.
That's Fusha making his way through as we finally see the backdraft. What exactly is this called?
Carbon car. It had many names.
Super Snake? I like Super Snake.
The first one was called the Super Snake.
Yeah.
This is the second generation that was Slingshot, and it eventually, got the talking with Brian Martin. He walked up to me and said, listen, it's the carbon car. Let's just leave it at that. That's what it is in the factory.
I'm going to speak to Brian and see if it's okay if I call it the Super Snake for the broadcast, because I think the audience might like that name for now. But let's go chat to them later on. I did, however, speak to the team, and everything seems to be good. The guys worked for as long as it took, and when I spoke to one of the team members, he mentioned to me that they have a never give up attitude, and you kind of got to have that for endurance racing. These guys here certainly do.
Now this is going to be a great one. So drivers are trying to push themselves a little bit more here in the warm-up, just trying to get themselves into a rhythm. But as you said, the carbon car, or as you say, the Super Snake, is one of one. Only one exists. And it is a constant project. It is the Frankenstein of the delightful Steve, who we're going to be seeing racing with Mike McLaughlin. So it's going to be a great time to see how that car's developed. They've made rear drums to do advanced cooling on the rears.
Yes.
They do have for the front, but they just ran out of time to get it prepped for the 9 hours of Kyalami.
Yeah, it's such an interesting system that they've got on those back brakes over there that actually encapsulates the entire disc, and then what happens is the air then gets forced through the disc and out the wheel on the other side, so you don't have the hot air collecting in that one spot over there. It's very clever. Let's see if it works. So far the car does look good out there. McLaughlin behind the wheel as he now starts his flying lap. Let's see how he goes in that big fast 72 car that has been so incredibly quick over the course of the weekend, with a little bit of bad luck mixed in between. The issue that he had was a belt that popped off as McLaughlin crosses the line over there, and he does a 158, but it's this lap that I think is going to be the flyer.
Well, it's going to be an absolute monster. One thing I've got to point out about the carbon car that's out on track is they were looking at trying to make it lighter, but they've agreed that this car will remain as it is. They can't quite make it lighter, so there's a Gen 3 on the way.
Oh, wow.
They're going to make 200 kilograms lighter to take on the likes of the GT3s that are un-BOP'd at the top. They want to make a South African-built prototype to charge after that and ensure it takes the win. So they're going to do everything they can here today, but there is future sights that I think for anyone driving GT3s or prototypes, best get concerned.
Oh yeah,
you're going to have a backdraft coming up at you.
It's under development at the moment, and let's talk about the aero on this car. You start at the front with what is a giant deck at the front bottom of this car, designed to create suction at the bottom of the car. It runs all the way through, and you can see under the wheels there, those gaps and spaces and vents under the wheels, designed to remove any turbulent air that might be collecting underneath those arches. Then further back, we've got even more ducts and vents, and all of those are functional to move air in the correct positions. Even those vents at the back there are specifically designed to make sure that no air sits underneath that carbon big aerofoil at the back of the car over there. And then of course there is the carbon wing with the giant side pods over there that also, again, all functional, working together with that big diffuser at the back to make sure that the car gets stuck to the ground. They are saying the car does still oversteer, but it's effectively creating ground effect at the bottom of the car. So at the high speed stuff, the car stays planted.
Well, that's it. The other way of trying to do this is something we've seen in the early 90s and 80s, where we actually had tunnels, but that was actually banned out of motorsport because they were going as fast as they can. They created the vacuum and it sucked you down and landed up the cars were getting faster and faster through corners. The problem is when that suction lets go, you bounce up, and unfortunately back in the day we did lose a couple of drivers, so it has been banned for sports cars and single seaters. So that's the only other way you can get that much suction underneath.
McLaughlin's gone third, Stewie still second place, but look at that. Jonathan Thomas with a 40.789 and finding his groove now is Jonathan Thomas going into the 40s. As far as I know, not only one other driver, Charles, has been in the 42nd range in this very car. So, Charles and Thomas now right on pace, and it just shows you that the limit is the limit, and both these professional drivers are able to get to that limit.
Now Now the question is, how long can they hang on that limit? Is going to be the question. So it's going to be a
9 hours,
time.
hopefully.
Yeah, well, that's it. 9 hours of racing. But I've also got to take my hats off to Mutombo. He's out there going and having a cracking time at 209.6 in the mini. I mean, that's just a great stuff to see. But I'm also looking forward to seeing how the race is going to turn out. So they're in a 1 hour dash, and they're going to have to really work with the Castrol side of things.
Yeah, and then of course we've got Johns now with a time of 1:42.740. So on pace now in the Audi, and this all after a motor swap overnight. Things are heating up here at the South African Endurance Series. And if you've just joined us, this is the National SAE warm-up as drivers get ready to go out later on for the 9 hours of Kyalami, which should kick off around about 1 o'clock, 1:15 to be exact, as we go live on SuperSport at 12 this afternoon, channel 210 on SuperSport. So far you see there Jonathan Thomas tops the standings in this warm-up, getting to know the car and making sure that he familiarizes himself with the pace and how this car works, because it is, upon closer inspection, a proper race car. We need to go have a look at it earlier on. The lights, for example, incredibly bright, facing forward as you can see, but it's also got sideward facing lights, so that when you're going around corners in the middle of the night, you can see around that corner. Then it's got a wiper system that really does work, although the guys did have issues with that wiper system
last year, being it where it stopped working and the guy was looking, the drivers were having to look out their side windows, which, no joke folks, look at your 19-inch computer screen. That is the size of the window at 300 kilometers an hour in the rain that you're going to have to stare out.
Then if you look at the side of this car over there, you see those side pods, those skirts. Now those skirts come in different lengths, and if you're talking about the ground effect cars of old, they would use those curtains over there to make sure that the air stayed trapped underneath the car. So this is a version of that technology, but the latest version of that technology. Safer version, carbon fiber, and adjustable as well, to make sure that it all balances out with the package. And there you see the team, the professional teams with 2 imports from Europe to specifically put their hands on this car and strategize, are now getting ready for what will be an epic 9 hours. Jonathan Thomas pulls in. Stuart White sets his fastest time in the last lap with a 42.238. John's still in the 42 and 43 second range. McLaughlin in the 47 second range. Hammond in Class B, the first of the Class B drivers, with a 151. And Aubrey with a 154 in that incredible Porsche 911 MR Manthey Racing.
Absolutely great stuff. And I'm just going through a withdrawal from Franco Di Matteo does confirm the suspicion that he will be a pit boss. He's gone and been relegated out of the driver's seat on that respect, and is now going to be the pit boss. And I think there's going to be big discussions there for the drivers. So, as everyone's going ready to get going, we're going to be moving on to one of our next support races. And, well, since it's been north versus south, and so far the south has won the fight for now. Next year, a different story, Ernest. We're going to have our single-seaters heading back out onto track. And I did take a walk through the pits to go and find out. One, Lucian Rotunda, we found out that he had his throttle body not opening up enough, so it was roughly opening about 25% when he put his foot flat. So every time he stood on the throttle as hard as it could go, it was more of a suggestion asking if the engine can go faster.
Oh, no.
Got told no, so he's replaced the entire throttle body.
Well,
then you had Gerber.
I've just heard now Gerber is in fact confirmed out. They did try to get the car fixed in time for the race. I've got some pictures over here. A couple of parts have already been replaced, but just not enough time, because of course we're heading straight into that in the coming moments, as the flag is out for all the competitors out on circuit at the moment.
Well, they were trying to get parts all the way out from Pretoria back at home to just get it, and unfortunately the distance is what caught them out in the end. Oh man, it's gutting. This is one of those moments that you kind of hoping that there would be a safety car or something just to try and give that little bit of a gap. And the drivers all tried their best. I mean, everyone was getting their arms into that car just to try and get it up and sorted. And it comes down to one thing. a lower control arm is the reason he can't get back out.
As we look across there, you see some enthusiasts and fans, some of them now getting those booty braais ready. I think I might...
Now I'm getting hungry.
I know, we need to find out where they are located. We can maybe pop in and join them. I'll bring the beers. How's about that?
I'll go for a chocolate milkshake, okay. But, well, we got a Bulls fan that's busy enjoying the Scottle Braai. It's absolutely fantastic. And we're seeing more and more fans coming and being a part of the show. I've seen a couple of cool boxes, fans walking around, going and getting themselves organized. I can tell you, from barbecue all the way to clubhouse, through sunset, S's is absolutely packed. So if you are in the Midrand area or have a way to get to Midrand, definitely come through. Tickets are on sale. You got to come through here and be a part of the show. And honestly, we do have the festival that's got 13 acts that are going to be playing today, which is rather exciting, with MTV bringing all the action and my personal favorite, Prime Circle,
singing the national anthem.
Oh,
I still can't believe
I got
that.
goosebumps just by saying it.
I cannot believe that we are moments away, about 1.5, let's say my calculation, 25 past 10 at the moment. So we're about an hour and a half away from kicking off the main proceedings. After this race, however, which will be race 2 and the final race of our support races, we will then go to our lunch break, after which we will be live on Supersport at 12 o'clock midday. But for now, it is back to single-seater racing. Some of the most exciting single-seater racing in recent times. DJ Boyson back out there. Robinson back out there. The Hill Clan back out there. Boyson's Motto and family back out there. And shout out to the Mottos. Carla Motto sent me a message last night. She said she had so much fun racing with the team and supporting the team out there over the last couple of days. So big shout out to all the drivers and families of the single seaters. I took a walk down in that paddock area, and yes, there certainly is a family vibe going on in that area over there. I did say yesterday, leave the kids at home, but bring them with. I think we can bring them with.
Yes, and I do want to point out as well, just for you, I was having a chat to Andre LaRue and Raj Ramchandra from Super V, and they were having a whole feast out there for the timing. They've brought some food for the timing, but also, Ernest, just for you as a congratulations.
Wow.
From us North guys, we would like to say well done. You've got it. You want a chocolate eclair? It's on the table to the side. You actually have a chocolate eclair. As a congratulations to the South for winning this time.
Honored. Why is Prince pulling his face like that? I mean, are you guys bad losers or what's going on here? I didn't start this though, for the record. You started this whole rivalry. I'm here to support everybody, everybody and DJ Boyce. So now I'm joking.
Oh, there we go. There we go. There we go.
But it's so cool to see that this is happening, and this is how competition improves the breed. We've always said that, and this is one of those moments where maybe there'll be more crossover. When the Libra guys came down to Cape Town, it was just such a jewel, so many competitors there, so many cars there, and even though some of the best racing you'll see is between two cars, usually at the sharp end of the field, when it comes to a spectator spectacle, sometimes you want to see 20 cars in the grid sometimes.
It's also great to see the mix-up of cars that are here. The Super Vs are incredible by themselves. And then you've add in the Formula Ms, the Formula Vs that are lurking around, Formula Fords, and also the Formula Volkswagens. Well, the Formula Volkswagens are more up the field. You've got your Formula GTIs. Getting to see all the drivers going and fighting it out, going next to one another. It's just a great moment. But there's lots of pressure going on for the likes of DJ Boysons because they were still tinkering with the car. They're not 100% with it. They still want to try and find a little bit out. Had a chat to Kennedy Torres, who is going and weaving right behind the Formula M. You will see the white Formula M coming into shot now. Kennedy Torres, which is a blue car. That is an 1800 Formula V. It's a Formula V chassis with an 1800. Originally, it had fairings over it, which it raced in sports cars, but is now going and having a home where it is. Whoa, that
is carbon?
Yeah, that is no, that is Alan Mayer.
27.
That's Alan Mayer, and that's Tyler Richardson, who Tyler going and trying to do a little bit of a start.
Oh, I thought that was a terminal over there for a second. That did not look good. That is the.
You've never done mock starts?
Oh, was that a mock start?
That was a mock start.
Okay.
Are you telling me you've never done
a mock start? But I glanced over, and just all of a sudden, I saw some commotion over there.
No, you've got it. You got it. You start trying to get that little bit of throttle, drops you going, and there we go. So as everyone is lining themselves up, got the likes of DJ Boyson's next to Alan Mayer, the two that have been going it, and we got Robertson lining up. Tyler looking to improve as she has been throughout the entire weekend, as everyone's getting ready to rock and roll and go, and getting ready to have a fun. Oh, I've got to say, this is just, it warms my heart. Single seaters back at Kyalami, and we're going to see them go off to the great run. So everyone getting ready to rock and roll. We are having a few cars that are a little bit having difficulties, like on it, who's running in the back. The orange Super V is having a slipping clutch, so she's going to just take it a bit easier for the start. We got Peter Hills back. Remember, he stopped going into turn 2. They managed to get the car up and going. Frantic, might I add. And former rivals actually got that car sorted. That was the weirdest thing to see, but it's just competition.
Man. This is motorsport, and we support each other where we can, and that's exactly what these guys are doing, as they want to have a fair competition on circuit, because that's where the racing takes place. Get that car to the start line, and let's see what happens then. And speaking of start lines, the fever pitch in the pit lane here as people run to find the best vantage point. The lights go red.
4,000 RPM, first gear, drop a clutch, go. Alan has had a terrible start and he loses out. Traden Trump getting the best of the whole shot and launching his way through, but DJ Boyson's, like clockwork, or like Ernest's watch, is working just fine at the moment, but Robinson trying to look for the inside on Alan Mayer, who is stuck on the outside. Robinson looks for the inside.
Mayer closes the door. Mayer closes the door on Robinson, and let's wait and see as the rest of the field comes through. The liquid Molly cars. Yep, we're waiting for the rest. There we go. Robinson in second position, I think it is, just nose to tail. All of these cars vying for position over here as they make their way through. The 95 car comes through as well, and there goes DJ Boyson. But no, Robinson is in third place, looks like it. Yes, Robinson slotting into third position.
It's going to be a great one nonetheless, and the drivers are going to have to really push their way to the top. It's going to be interesting though, because Robinson is now getting a little bit more race under the pace, but also there was previous contact with Yannick Herber as he dived for the right-hand side. So Alan Mayer in second, with Robinson chasing on the back of him and trying to make his way through. This is Aiden Marrow that's now got Lucian Ranchanda all over the back of him.
This is going to be a good one.
That might actually be Vaughan Hills that's chasing down, and Kennedy Torres going and loading on behind. So this is going to be a close battle there, and a very interesting one. You've got a Formula M running with an 800cc, you've got a 1400 Formula V, you've got a Super V that's 1600, and then you've got Kennedy Torres in the modified Libra car, and that's running a 1800 VW motor, and in front of that whole pack is lying a Formula Ford going and having a bit of fun out towards it. So
you're telling me, oh, we've got a big lockup over there, manages to recover. You're telling me Aiden Morrow is now currently running in fourth position and leads fifth position.
With the 800cc motorbike motor.
Yeah, fourth position, Aiden Morrow. Come on, Aiden, let's see how he does. Lots and lots of pressure, though, being applied from the rear as they make their way onto the main straight. So many cars in fourth position here, and of course there are multiple classes. So let's see how each driver stacks up in their class. Class A, of course, Boyson, Mayer, Robinson. Class D, we got Elwood, then it's Morrow, who also features in Class A, and then just behind him is Hills, Jacobs, Torres, and the list of drivers goes on, nose to tail, close racing all the way through. The front runner, though, getting away, but the rest of the guys, oh, big lock up there. The pressure now starting to mount for Mayer.
Yeah, well, he was actually going and changing brake fluid a little bit later. He was concerned about it. Well, it seems like it's still plaguing him a little bit, and Tyler Robertson is now going to put that pressure. She is not going to back down from the fight, going for that second place. Elwood, who is keeping all comfortable, he's quite far away from this, but behind him is a difficult time with Brandon Hills, Francois Jacobs, Hilton Morrow, everyone being on their killing tour. So it's not Aiden Morrow, it's Hilton Morrow that is going and making their way through. Both running in A-class Formula M's, yes, might I add.
Aiden Morrow, of course, a little bit further down in the order, I'm sure. Trying to find his name over there. He is. Yeah, he was in 9th position in last classification. Hayden Morrow in 5th place, and now we look for the battle for 2 and 3, and now suddenly cut back to further
Damien
back.
Archer. That's
Damien
Archer
Archer in the 24 car.
That's a Formula GTI on the back of Jaden Chomp, who is now trying to go around the Super V of Lucian Ranchanda. Sorry, that's Francois Jacobs that they're going around, and unfortunately it's going to be 3 wide into Leocorp. There can only be one winner in that. front is going to be very, very interesting. As we take a look at our second and third, we have our likes of... Oh, that is Taylor running out a little bit wide, and you can see how the old man, Alan Mayer, well, the young gun, I would say, going and battling to just get that car to slow down. It's not having the best time, but we got to keep a very close eye, because right behind them is this little battle of Morrow going and defending against Brandon Hills, Kennedy Torres, and now take a look who's made up some ground. That is Aiden Morrow looking to back up. So the Morrow family are now on front of the train and at the back of the train, chasing each other down. But the Super V's, unfortunately, still having a few niggles for likes of Francois Jacobs, who had his nose torn off in the first race. But this is
Aiden Morrow on Elwood. Aiden Morrow on Elwood. It's late. It's late, and almost gets into one of the other cars over there.
So
that was Aiden Morrow on Torres. I apologize. Aiden Morrow on Torres over there. Oh, Morrow once again getting sideways. We saw him spin out yesterday. He's a little bit wild over there. The young exuberance coming into play there. Aiden Morrow seeing the two other cars in front of him just want to get past. And there he goes as his father leads off that little troop over there.
Oh, it's absolutely incredible. And Elwood is running in the Formula Ford. Is going to be quite happy with it. Outside, couldn't get it. And Hilton managing to keep it at bay. But now this is a familiar sight for Kennedy Torres, stuck in between the Morrow family. They are giving him a rough time. Looks around the outside, couldn't get through the S's, but this is going to open up a gap to allow Aiden Morrow back in, but don't count out Brandon Hills, who's keeping in tow, and now going to go side by side. Brandon using all his experience here and against the young gun of Aiden.
Brandon goes around the outside, Aiden defends, and then we see Torres over there in the mix now. Will he be able to go down the inside? Yes, he does. Aiden leaves the door open, and now he's got the inside line going down the mine shaft. Here comes Aiden now. He's going to have the inside line for the following corner, though. Morrow holds the outside line, slides it around, and then manages to go defensive once again.
Oh, so close for it, but just that little bit of horsepower comes in play. He's lost it. He's gone and slid out, and that has allowed Brandon Hills going towards Cheetah. He backed out of it though, Brandon because Hills, that landed up hurting his championship in Formula V, that very corner.
Yeah.
And so he's a little bit of that voice in the head saying no. But Kennedy Torres all over the back. He keeps looking on that right side. He needs to switch it over, go to the left, go and lean on the left-hand side of Hilton Morrow. He's not comfortable there.
Yeah, it's Boyson, it's Mayer, it's Robinson, it's Elwood, it's Morrow, Torres and Morrow. But the battle we're looking at on our screen at the moment as more cars start to join this battle. Morrow now, Aiden under immense pressure, but manages to hold off the charging cars. We got Ramchanda in the mix over there as well, and Jacobs looks like it. We've got Hills over there as well, and yesterday we saw Hills and the Morrow clan battling it out, but now it's nose to tail stuff as we head towards sunset.
Yeah, that's Brandon Hills under pressure from Traden Trump, the rookie, has now got Peter. And Traden Trump now needing to push a little bit harder. I mean, this train is getting bigger and bigger as we see Kennedy Torres trying to go around the outside. Can he get it all hooked in? No, but it's likes of Brandon having to defend against his own father and the rookie, but Kennedy Torres is going to try go around the outside.
Oh, sideways moment there by Torres as Morrow holds him off, and here comes Aiden Morrow now with the train, of course, behind him. The 3-car in the mix as well. There are Bills, Trompy in the mix as well, Ramchanda right there, but it's a Morrow sandwich at the moment, and let's see if Torres is going to cause any problems. Torres might be the cork in the bottle, because at the moment Aiden Morrow sees Aiden leaves that door open on the inside. He doesn't care, but he knows he's going to get the inside line as he goes down the mine shaft into the following corner.
Well, Lucia Ratchanda got the pass on Traden Chomp, and now is also joining in the fray, and it looks like Aiden's going to have to go defensive on the inside. Brandon on the outside. Lucian dives up on the inside of Peter Hills. He's going to try and go for the pass through the crocodiles they go. Traden Chomp also trying to utilize the slipstream. Kennedy Torres is still over there. This is an absolute monster of a race, side by side through Cheetah. Oh, Lucian Ratchanda and Peter Hills showing off a bit of skill there and just shrugging off the shoulder. But now Lucian onto the back of Brandon Hills. So Brando's going to be very careful on this one as they charge down, heading to turn 2. It is flat out all the way. I have got chills. Oh no,
someone's out.
That might be Chloe. That is out.
Oh, here comes the dive down the inside on Moro. Oh, that looks like, yep, that's is the 501. That's Ramchanda. That is Ramchanda gets the dive down the inside. Ramchanda takes the position, and now all of a sudden Hill's having a look as well. Oh my goodness me, Ramchanda gets the lead, and Moro's lost 2 places now, but that was bound to happen, or some version of that was bound to happen, because the pressure on that young Moro was a lot to take. He clearly was going defensive most of the time, but now it's time to attack with 4 laps to go.
Well,
Moro comes back.
Moro immediately back, but Ramchanda getting 2 positions into 1 corner with a late braking maneuver. 4 laps to go. Kennedy is battling, and looks like Lucian Ramchanda has got all the dust out of the works on that car. That is now working at full tilt, and you can see the defensive lines coming from the likes of Hilton Moro. Kennedy Torres going and closing right up against him. And now
Ramchanda's in the mix now. Ramchanda has caught up to the pack in front. Ramchanda goes down the inside. Will he get the position? Yes, he does. Ramchanda takes the position. And now Hilton Moro feels the pressure that Ramchanda's been applying, and sideways goes Aiden Moro with the rest of the pack behind him.
Oh, Peter Hill's going and overtaking his own son on the inside through Learcorp and not giving him an option on this. But take a look, they are closing up to Elwood as well. And Elwood does not want to be in this pack because there is no room to breathe. Jaden Chomp immediately going onto the back of Brandon Hills. Peter Hill's so close to the back of Hilton Moro as they make their way through to Cheetah. This is madness. Ernest, I don't know
he goes
about
for the move. He goes for the move. He's going to get it. He was always going to get it. The speed was there.
Nope, he's not.
Oh
We're not
my
right. It's now horsepower.
me.
It's now horsepower that's going to work out. It's bike engine. It's the Formula M to get the run. Lucian Ramchanda's compromised, and now has Kennedy Torres utilizing all the power of that 1800 and the slipstream to try and get as close as he can. Lucian managing to run away just a fraction, but take a look at Brandon Hills. Got to try and pull a move on his dad. Peter Hills couldn't quite get it hooked in, but the thought is there.
The thought is indeed there. Peter Hills, Brandon Hills, nose to tail. And here through your picture comes the Aiden Moro car, taking so much pressure, giving so much pressure. And Ramchanda, I thought Ramchanda had that one in the bag there for a second, didn't he?
Well, you think so, but take a look. Elwood is going to have a whole group of cars in his mirrors with 3 laps to go. They're going to catch up to him, and he's going to have a huge problem, because if I was him, I don't want to be in this fight as Ramchanda around the outside. They're literally putting the rear wheel up against the side pod. Going and putting the wheels like that is so dangerous, but these drivers are leaving nothing to touch.
Wow, Ramchanda does it through the S's. Ramchanda does it through the S's, and Mario has to heal. But it's not over yet. Mario's going to have another look down the inside of the top of the hill.
And they got Elwood. They're onto Elwood. Huge send on Elwood, and Ramchanda gets the pass.
Both of them go past. Elwood has to back out of it completely. There might be a problem for Elwood. Elwood seems to be slowing down. Ramchanda now absorbing all that pressure. Torres getting side by side with Elwood now as they make their way back down the hill for the penultimate time. 2 laps to go. 1 more after this.
Take a look at Peter Hills up on the inside against Aiden Moro, but he gets boxed in behind Elwood as well through the crocodiles, and that is going to help Aiden Moro. And now Elwood has to get defensive, but Peter Hills now has got Brandon Hills all over the back of him as they're fighting through. You can see moving left to right just to try and focus on breaking the slipstream. I don't want to alarm you or anything, but I don't know what Formula 1 is, because this is even better.
We have still green flag racing with 1 lap to go as they come through. DJ Boyson, Mayer, Robinson, Ramchanda in 4th place. We've got a car parked on the side of the circuit there.
That's one of the Super Vs that's unfortunately come down to a stop, but not having the best of times there, as we do see Peter Hills gets a pass on Helmut, and so does Brandon Hills. So the 2 Hills have now gone past and are starting to get the climb on the way through. But take a look, Kenny Torres on the dirt through the XA sweep.
That is not good for Torres over there, not good for him at all. And with these cars, you lose so much momentum when you have a moment like that. And it's all about momentum, as we've seen before. DJ Boyson still way ahead, and I'm just waiting to check if this is in fact the last lap. Yes, it is. The flag is out. Nope, we've got green flag racing. They've still got one more lap to go. I apologize. One more lap to go. And this time the marshals are making sure that everybody knows exactly that it is still one more lap to go. We had a discrepancy yesterday, but that's all been sorted out, as DJ Boyson now on the final lap needs to just keep it together, and it'll be 4 out of 4 for DJ Boyson if he can pull this off.
Okay, yes, DJ Boyson is at the top, but can I point out that everyone that's fighting a little bit further behind are all from the north, just to let you know.
But this is what I was saying, we've only been looking at one class. I think we should definitely look at some of the other classes.
And take a look, Robertson's ahead of Mayer, which is a first as well, and that's happened just through turn 1. So Robinson's actually got into second place ahead of Alan Mayer, and well, going to be happy for her on that one. A huge run for the likes of Hilton Morrow, Kenny Torres, Aiden Morrow, Elwood, Peter Hills, Brandon Hills, and Vaughan Hills, all still within their pack. But we are seeing DJ Boyson's has run absolutely faultless. The Deco team are going to be excited. They're going to be ecstatic. It's going to be through the moon. And, well, I have to say, a congratulations for the North versus South. A clean sweep goes to the Coastal boys despite the adjustment in altitude. Oh man, future talent is out there.
Oh yeah, plenty. Plenty.
Single-seater racing, gotta love it.
Single-seater racing, and again, this is one of the most exciting single-seater races we've seen in a long time on a national level as well, as we go through again for the final time now is DJ Boyson. And we've been talking about that puff of smoke out that car for so long, but it hasn't skipped a beat the entire time. And here, ladies and gentlemen, for the 4th time is DJ Boyson. The Dyco car makes its way across the finish line. Applause all round as he gets the win for the 4th time today, and the rest of the drivers make their way through. You've got in second position, quite a ways down, you've got the Robinson car coming in second place. Mayer gets 3rd position, and then further down the field, the rest of the classes, as first place in class A is DJ Boyson, second in A is Robinson, 3rd in A is Mayer. Ramchanda's got to be my driver of the day in this category. Oh, and the battles are still going on. It's not over yet. It's not over yet. The rest of the field still battling it out.
This is the one we've been watching with likes of Hilton Morrow ahead, Kenny Torres, and then you got Aiden Morrow, but Peter Hills is all over the back of the young gun. Kenny Torres is going to try and go around the outside, so is Peter Hills. Brandon Hills is going to try and get involved in the fight, and this is the likes of Aiden Morrow.
Aiden Morrow's back in the fight.
He's trying to, he's sliding out.
Ooh,
Peter Hills is going to capitalize.
Those tires are cooked. Peter Hills would love to make the move through there, but it's so risky to make the move. We saw 2 abreast earlier on. It's so tricky. Sideways there for Hills.
Well, this is it. It's going to be tight braking, and you can see Hilton takes the defense. Aiden goes to defense as well. Peter Hills is going to lead out.
Oh, Aiden made a mistake on the exit.
It's going to be a drag race.
Made a mistake on the exit, but he gets it. Yes, he does.
And so does Helwood. Tried also drag racing. Unfortunately, didn't run enough room there, but Aiden can be thanking his lucky stars that he's got a few extra revs compared to the VW motor.
Those ponies came in handy, and let's look at those results there. DJ Boyson in first place, followed by Robinson and Mayer in Class A. In Class B, Ramchanda gets the lap with Jacobs once again coming in second place. Tucker in 3rd position over there. Fenter gets the Formula Ford win, and Torres gets the GTI win with Elwood and Archer also in the mix this time. Formula V, Hills. It's a 1-2-3 for the 3 Hills family over there with Trompy in 4th position. Yeah, let's talk about those hills. Which hill is which over there?
Okay, so we're going to cross the hills at this point.
Okay.
So Peter Hills is the dad that takes the win over his sons of Brandon Hills and Vaughan Hills. They were going and finishing up respectively. Brandon Hills being the oldest versus Vaughan Hills. It's good to see, and Trayton Chomp being the rookie of the Formula V season 2024 is going to be quite happy with that. But as DJ Boyson's brings the car slowly down and just soaking it in here at Kyalami, and not many drivers can say they've come to Kyalami and had a clean sweep the way it is. Alan Mayer going and showing a well done and a bit of words being spoken. That is what we love to see. And 2 generations in that very picture right there. Alan Mayer, the old guard, going and signaling to DJ Boysons and saying, well done.
Well done, DJ Boyson, for the fork all the way in Johannesburg in a car that is usually set up for Cape Town. It's the first time they've come here, and a big shout out to him and his team. We've got Craig in that team as well, and the rest of the mechanical team over there. Big shout out to the drivers and teams here today that made sure that their cars made it to the end, fixed their cars, tried to fix them, the preparation that goes in before the race, the transport, the logistics, the costs of entry, the list goes on and on. Motorsport is not an easy affair, but some of these guys today made it look easy.
That's it, and well, as a respective of the North in the single-seaters, I will shake your hand, Ernest Page, for a congratulations on winning for the South there. But let's take a look at our results. DJ Boyson's taking the top win. A clean sweep here at Kyalami. Tyler Robertson actually getting the pass into second place. Going to be happy with that as she's going to be celebrating with the family. Alan Mayer running in third. Lucian Ranchanda getting
winner.
And also is now the 2024 Super V winner for it. So absolutely,
champion.
That's it.
Yeah.
The champion has now made it. Lucian Ranchanda, followed by Hilton Marrow, ahead of Kennedy Torres, Aidan Marrows, Paul Hills, Brandon Hills, and Hayden Elwood going and rounding out the entire field. Man, oh man, I absolutely adored that. And Ernest, sorry for grabbing your hand, as that was just so exciting.
Now, these things happen. It was a little bit of a nail biter over there. And it's always good to see close racing like we've seen today. It's always good to see close racing, and it's rare to see close racing in South Africa with single seaters. I know we've had pockets of clubs here and there with pockets of action, but this one here, this has been action packed.
It's been incredible, and honestly, that doesn't stop the action, as it's just only ramping up, folks. So if you're still in the Midrand area, if you're close to the Midrand area, or if you're willing to take a drive to the Midrand area, get yourself to Kyalami. Tickets are...
Is there time for a flight to from Cape Town?
I think so, but you have put new batteries in your watch, so that's at least a positive. But definitely, you want to be a part of this. You want to tune in. You want to see all the racing action. It's going to be incredible, and it's only heating up because later on today, the big one, the 9 hours of Kyalami, double points, championships on the line. 5 different champions need to come in first place, not second, to walk away with the 2024 championship.
And then we've got imported drivers. JP Mauro, a fan favorite. You've got Andrew Rackstraw fresh off his podium at the Walter Hayes Trophy. You've got Keegan Masters having won in Italy. You've got so many other imported drivers that are not just quick, professional, but incredibly talented, all competing for that same piece of tarmac. Ladies and gentlemen, it's the 9 hours of Kyalami, and it starts at 12 o'clock today, so be sure to tune in on YouTube at 12 o'clock, and then of course Super Sport Channel 210 at 12 midday today.
It's going to be incredible. I got to say, it's exciting, and bringing motorsport back to the homes on TVs, on phones, tablets, and whatever you can. So get everyone to tune in, watch all the action, and oh boy, this is going to be absolutely awesome to end off the year's form of motorsport.
Yeah. We'll see you guys at 12 o'clock. Be sure to tune in again. YouTube at 12 and also Supersport Channel 210. We'll see you then.